30 minutes late though, so he'll be here closer to the
Yes,
hour.
sir.
We're live.
This is Boog Nights coming at you with the Articulated Comic Book Art Podcast. This is our 12th episode, if I'm not mistaken. We got our regular crew here. Colonel Crackers, Pharaoh, Black, a.k.a. Darth, Homeboy, Emiya, Starlock, myself, Boog Nights, and we waiting for Rick to come. He's, I don't know what he's doing, but he should be here shortly. So we're going to jump right into this. We're trying to keep things focused this week as far as the topics and stuff go. I think we're going to have a guest stop by too. So as far as what I got this past week, I got a package from my man Bill Maru, Toy Canic.
Somebody's got their audio up.
He's got he had a package of some figures that I had over there for a minute that needed repair, and it was my white suit Jigsaw, which had broke at the leg, and he fixed that. It's looking good. Got it right here, actually. So that's looking good. And he had what else? Oh, a pyro for me, which was here. I got like 3 pyros, but for whatever reason, the head has snapped off this one, and I just wanted it to get repaired. Usually, if I have doubles or triples or something, and it breaks and I get it repaired, then I use that one to just keep displaying wet and keep the other ones on ice. And he touched up my Agent Venom. This is probably like my 3rd one of these, but he added working holsters on the left there, and the one on the front for the Magnum. I just need to paint the Magnum there. And he touched up all the belt buckles and loops and all of that, and this looks really, really good. He touched up the white areas too for the Spider-Man or Venom symbol or whatever. And what else did I get this week? I got Pharaoh sent me the Walgreens exclusive Vader, so I could try to switch out that head and paint it and put that head on the regular release. And he sent me a Ray. And
I ain't saying you anything. I sent it for your daughter.
well, I was about to say you sent it for her. So she was hype as hell about that. She really enjoyed the movie. Saw it with her, I guess, weekend before last week, and I don't know. But immediately she was like she wanted a BB-8. So Pharaoh sent that to her. She was really happy about that. And I got the SH Figure Arts Hulkbuster, which I think is an amazing figure. I think it came out very, very good. I think the figure's dope. I mean, I really don't have too many gripes, any gripes really with the figure, aside from I think that the price tag is probably not warranted though. I'll say that. And that's it. I think that's all I got this week. What about you?
Explain real quick why you wanted to swap the heads on that Vader and paint the Emperor's Wrath one.
Oh, because the shape of the regular release is a little funny. All of these Vaders that got released is something that's great with every one of them and something that's not. But, like, we still haven't really got the perfect Vader. I think probably the Mafex Vader is probably the best offering out of all of the companies right now, I believe. But the shape of the helmet on the Walgreens exclusive is more accurate to the movie and looks better. So a lot of people just been painting that one up and swapping out the head. So.
Because that one's one solid piece, right? It's not like a removable helmet like the original.
Yeah, a solid piece too. Yeah,
because that's what kind of warped the head on that one, makes it a little bit bigger.
Yeah, sometimes it can come apart. It's like it's separating a little bit. Sometimes you got to kind of shit, especially if you're taking like close-up pictures. You might take a picture and it might be separated a little. So you always got to watch that with that particular picture.
Interesting. A lot of people were confused by that, so good that you clarified. Pharaoh, what you got this week?
I bought some more Cap Legends. Funko blind box Batman figures.
That's what that was, the blind box?
Huh?
I said that's what that was, a blind box, that picture that you posted?
Yeah. I got the gift of finding Batman no matter what. Like right out the gate. It's the first one I bought, Batman. But I got the Arkham Origins Man-Bat, Professor Pig, and the Azrael. I got the Hulkbuster. Darius sent me what is that? Is that God Goku? Whatever the Goku with the cotton candy blue hair or whatever.
Yeah.
Super Saiyan?
Yeah, well, he sent me that. He sent me the Frieza, and he sent me Android 17. I was expecting to get my figure from Mr. Starlock here, but you know.
Shit, me too. I ain't get shit from him yet, bastard. And you know what
But
else? I forgot
Sorry.
that my girl got what's that Naruto figure that just came out?
the ninja.
Yeah, what's his name?
Kakashi.
Akashi, yeah. That's, uh,
Kakashi Hatake.
my girl collects those or whatever, so she got that in, and
The Hyundai May just came out too, the Minato. In
and
Japan. I don't think that one's out here yet.
I got to fuck around with it a little bit. It's actually really, really nice. Probably the best one out of that line, in my opinion.
But I think what else? Did I get anything else? Man, I know I got something else, man. I'm just not remembering what the fuck it was. Oh well, but that was pretty much it.
What you think about the Hulkbuster?
No, yes, I like the Hulk bus. I agree with you. I mean, for what you paying for that $400. What was it, 300?
Yeah, I guess if you got on early, it came out to like 325 or something like that with the tax and everything.
It ain't worth $300. I mean, I think. Well, no. Let me rephrase that. I think that they definitely could have got it to us for less than $300.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like the figure a lot, though, man. I posted a video on your picture, but I had posted a video in different groups because a lot of cats were just like really talking shit about the figure, and I think it really comes from the fact that a lot of people just either they couldn't actually afford it, and like I said, affording it doesn't mean you couldn't actually buy it, but I mean buy it and not really worry about the money or where it went. I think a lot of people that's the case with them when they missed it, but I had to post a video because it was just people shitting on it, talking about it couldn't move, and then half the reviewers out there. I mean, I don't mean to disrespect nobody or whatever, but fuck you. The reviews just didn't do it justice, man. I was looking at all those early reviews. And people couldn't twist the waist, and they weren't moving their legs and shit. And it actually had me scared at first.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, this really. I know they didn't. For all the money that a motherfucker put into this damn thing, I know that it just wasn't that limited. And when I got it, I said, oh.
It's funny you say that though, because when I saw you mess around with it, that's what I was. It was right before I opened mine, so I was like, "Oh, these guys definitely wasn't moving it around. You could definitely move it. It's not fragile. You know what I'm saying? It's got a lot of weight and girth to it, but it's not a fragile figure at all. You could definitely mess around with it. But yeah, three. Yeah, if you pay $500 for that figure, you're a fool.
Yeah. I wouldn't pay $500 for that figure. But you know what? I don't think that. I don't know, because everybody's talking about the Mayfix version, which in my mind, that figure's not going to be half of what that is.
That figure. I don't think so.
I mean, the figure retails at $100, so I just don't see it.
I don't see it either. Not from Mayfix. Mayfix got like another year or 2 years of proving themselves to me before I say that they like fucking with figure arts in any way, shape, or form. And I love my Mayfix Spidey, but it's still got mad issues with it. The Batman had mad issues. It's just they didn't quite nail everything yet as far as quality control. So
I think if they just simply charged more money for stuff, I think the figures would be better because they have experience. Medicom's been around for a long time, and their 1/6 stuff is, I consider, very good.
What's your reasoning for charging more, though? Like, I mean,
I think the figures are too cheap. The Mayfix figures are cheaper than SH figure arts and stuff like that.
They are.
They're like $10–15 cheaper on average.
Gotcha.
They're by a percentage.
Because the JoJo figures, they were really nice, and even the Kaneko Man figures that they had, they were pretty nice too.
That's not the same company, Pharaoh. That's Medicom.
Oh,
They're not.
Yeah, you're right.
Actually.
You are right.
Yeah. Medicom, Medicom's first foray, and I guess they're like what? They're bigger than 1/12 scale, aren't they, Mayfix? Like 1/10 scale. Yeah,
They were the real action hero people, right?
yeah, they're the real action heroes people, and most of the time, I mean, they've had breakage issues and stuff in the past, but the real action hero stuff is, I mean, it's expensive, but it is pretty good stuff. But yeah, the Mayfix stuff. I mean, I don't mind really getting the Mayfix stuff. I've handled a lot of it, but yeah, I mean, definitely, I think if they charged maybe $10, $15 more, I think the quality would be a lot better.
Well, while you talking, what'd you get this week?
I actually didn't get much stuff this week. Just usual things coming in. I have a lot of stuff coming in this week, but not this past week. I haven't really gotten. I think the problem is a lot of my mail and everything has been slowed down because of the storm. So
Yeah, I think that was everybody on.
yeah, and I mean, I got some stuff, but there was nothing. I guess like random things here and there. But a lot of my shipments been slowed down this week because of the storm. So.
Oh, I got Bruce Lee.
Oh, the figure arts joint.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't think of it. And I got that Bruce Lee. That figure, I like that figure.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I see the pre-orders. I mean, yeah, I see the pre-orders sold out on Big Bad Toy Store.
I mean, a lot of people. I don't know. I'll be going on to other groups, just listen to what they talk about. They complain a lot. I think one of the biggest issues that they were saying that the figure was too short, but I like the figure, man. The figure's very posable.
I mean, how tall do they want Bruce Lee to be?
Right. Y'all mean you should.
How's it compare with Figma?
Nah, Figma figure was more like a animated Bruce Lee compared to this figure, man. Like seriously, you couldn't use them together. That's how the figure arts looks way more realistic.
Yeah, stylistically.
And what? Don't you get like 4 faces with the figure arts version?
Yeah, you get a bunch of faces and hands. And then it give you the staff. You get the 2 sticks and the fucking nunchucks. So I mean, it was a dope figure all around. I think the biggest problem that I had with the figure is that they use pegs for the feet instead of an actual joint. So you can't really get him to point his foot down as far as you would want him to. But other than that, man,
I wonder
really
why
nice.
that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it didn't. But what can you do? I think it was worth the money. I was glad I pre-ordered it and got it for what did it retail for? $35 or something?
Yeah, something like
That's
that.
good.
So yeah, at that price is definitely worth it. I think even at the $50 price point, it's not terrible.
I'd pay $50 for it, man. That's how I always look at the imports once I get them in. Would I have ordered it from Big Bad or some other place that would have plenty premium?
Yeah, that's definitely a good way to look at it.
Did you ship it just by yourself?
Go ahead.
Did you ship it just by yourself, just by itself, Pharaoh?
Yeah, well, yeah, because I ordered it. I missed the Ami order, so I had to order from Hobby Link, so I didn't really have shit else.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. But I mean, it was still. I mean, even what I paid for it, I want to say I paid $38 for it, and then I think my shipping was only.
You said what? Like 12
yeah,
bucks?
It was like $11 shipping or whatever.
Yeah, it's like $50, not too bad.
Yeah, I wasn't complaining about it, but I mean, I would have paid $50 and then $11 shipping for it.
Yeah,
that's good. I like it.
That's good. Did you just get one, or did you get more than one?
No, they only let me order one.
Oh, it was limited to one. Okay.
I wanted to get 2 at least, but they wasn't having it. Man.
You can try to grab him when he comes out in the U.S. as well. Probably some places I'll have them in your area, like your comic shop and stuff like that.
If I wanted another one, I don't think it'd be that hard to find them. Because most of the people who buy a bunch of pre-orders are really just people who want to try and resell them or trade them for something.
Yeah.
I don't really think they know exactly what might be worth something. Wait till this. What's the chick name? Fucking Captain Phasma. Wait till the Captain Phasma hit. You're gonna see everybody and mama was all type of Phasmas on trade boards and shit. People going crazy. I think I think the want for her has died down greatly.
I don't know. I think it's still going to be a pretty high figure because I mean it's still rounding out your little modern Star Wars crew bad crew, you know, Phasma's gonna still round out things for people's displays and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that originally I think people's idea was like, okay, I'm going to pay $50 for this figure or so, and I'm going to sell this figure for $150 easy. And I don't think that's what's going to happen. I don't think that the 150 price tag is going to hold at all. That's just my opinion, and and you realize like the domestic retailers haven't gotten there either. So once you know what I mean, like once the pre-orders come in from Japan, then after that couple of months wait, then the domestic retailers get her. There should be plenty available.
Now, I was wondering on that Bruce Lee if they did a face scan on that, or is that sculpted? I know you can't.
It's a face scan, but the main thing with the SHF stuff is not so much to scan. They usually scan actors' faces anyway for lots of figures. It's the digital painting. So that's what I was curious about too. And everything, it's digitally printed on the face.
Oh.
Yeah, because if you look at it, it looks like, you know, little dots, basically, like
it's digital. Well, when you zoom up really close on it.
Right, exactly. I saw some really high-res macro shots. I was like,
when you're like really high-res, you can see like the dots, but it is digitally printed on the face. That's why it has a lot of the time, you know, like your stuff, like your Hasbro stuff or your Jack stuff, like a lot of the US, the lower end stuff. Even low end in general, you know, sometimes they have good likenesses, the sculpt, but because it's not painted that well, it kind of gets lost. But then, like I said, often, you know, when you have a really nice paint job, you could bring the likeness out, and I think that's what they pretty much did. They get the scan, they scan the head, but basically the thing that really brings the likeness out is they basically print the likeness onto the face. So it's not hand done, it's basically just, you know, digitally printed on.
That's why the blemishes and stuff look so natural.
Yeah.
They did it for Star Wars and all that stuff too, then?
They did it pretty much. Star Wars was where they really started to get their stride. The very first figure actually was the Michael Jackson. That's when they were. The Michael Jackson just looks okay because at that time I think they were still trying to figure it out. But starting with Star Wars, I think is when they started to hit their stride. And like I said, they didn't do it for the first Avengers line, but then obviously for Civil War, they're going to bring that. They're gonna put it on Captain America and all the figures from this point on. So I think from now on, you know, like all the figures that are supposed to be based on real life actors, they're all going to have the digital coloring for their faces. So
sounds good for that Freddie Mercury then.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury's that celebrity line that they're doing, like with the Freddie Mercury, the Bruce Lee, and the Michael Jackson. That's always going to have it. Mm-hmm. And I guess whatever they decide to do from here on, and then like obviously like the Star Wars, the Marvel stuff, the live action stuff, that stuff is going to also have it. So I mean, it's pretty much their technology. They're the ones who pretty much created it. You know, that at least implementing it on action figures. So they obviously want to get their mileage out of it. Of course, it's become their stable thing for those type of figures, and I think it's really put their live action stuff was just okay. Especially you look at, you know, the first Avengers stuff that they did, and you know even the Michael Jackson, you know, those before. But I think really now that they're really getting it down. I think it's definitely taken the detail level to a whole nother level.
I think it's a good way to go because like I said with the Bruce Lee, like you said with the Michael Jackson was kind of but that Bruce Lee figure really looks good. So
well, they got their stride. I think they really started to get the stride is like when they started doing the Star Wars ones. Like the Luke, I could see it was starting to really get a lot better, and then obviously Obi-Wan looks really great too.
Right.
And then, you know, and obviously it looks like Mace from the pictures and stuff looks really good. You know, I mean, and it's getting better and better. They're getting the hang of it. So obviously you get the Bruce Lee, that one looks really good. So.
Yeah, I thought that bastard was gonna jump up off the box and walk across the table, man. That fucking Obi-Wan looked really nice.
Yeah, I like Obi-Wan a lot too.
They did a really great job with Obi-Wan. I was pretty impressed. Yeah. Especially, like I said, I mean, for something that's at that price point, which is like a mid-end figure, and also that size, I think it was a huge accomplishment to get that likeness, you know, that good, you know, for that price and that size. Definitely.
Well, this week was pretty light on my hauls too. I didn't really pick up too much. I got the Spidey Legends, but only 2 of them. I got Ben Riley Spidey, and I got Jack O' Lantern because my comic shop, Comic Book, only had those 2. Only had the 2 Superior Foes of Spider-Man, and they had doubles of those 2. So I figured I'd go back and get those later. I'll just grab the ones that they only have 1 of for now. I got the WrestleMania 32 Undertaker, which is like probably one of the best Undertakers in recent memory from Mattel, because he's kind of going back to the biker look with the leather pants and not like the full leotard. He just has like the the leotard top basically.
Is
And
that the
then he's
one with
got,
the fake leather jacket?
yeah, he's got like a pleather coat. Looks really nice. It's just like the Defining Moments Sting one, except a little less duster, a little more trench coat.
So
But
that figure is that not the first Undertaker that they ever released in the Elite line, or is it
mm,
different?
no, this is the WrestleMania 32 Elite, so it's like a sub series of Elites. It's not like one of the numbered series. Like for every WrestleMania each year, they do like a couple of figures. Like this one is the WrestleMania 32 Undertaker, and then it's a Brock Lesnar
Brock Lesnar.
from his first title win. So he doesn't have the sword tattoo yet. It's like an earlier Brock Lesnar, um,
Right.
and he doesn't have like the fight shorts. He has like wrestling trunks basically. And he comes with the undisputed title, if I'm not mistaken. So it's pretty cool. The head scan on it's kind of weird. He's got like the screaming head scan on it. It's kind of weird. I think it's more of a recent head scan that they put on this older, meant to be older
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar. So it looks all right.
I just seen Matt Goldberg review that figure. So yes, it's
Yeah,
pretty much the same as the other figure, just a different head scan.
I was just gonna mention. Yeah, he just did the Undertaker review for his Wrestling Figure Wednesday. He did Brock Lesnar too. They're both pretty solid figures. I don't really care for that other Brock Lesnar, so I just got this Undertaker because I like having it, up to date. That's my dog barking.
Well,
Other than that, I got another NECA Christopher Reeve Superman. They just happened to have another one at Toys R Us. I was like, oh fuck it, I'll get another one. I'll keep it in package just in case my open one breaks, because yeah, they fucking tend to do that. Um, that's all I actually got. I was talking to this guy Eric Eisner. He goes by erock74 on Instagram. I'm pretty sure you guys know Eric, but he just got like a Sleepy Hollow set. Comes with a horse and this big tree for McFarlane. He doesn't want the horse, so I'm trying to negotiate with him, trying to get that horse for my Gorilla Soldiers and for my General Ursus, Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, that set is old as hell.
Yeah, it is. But that's a horse. I need a horse because these Lord of the Rings horses are really hard to find.
Now the horse and the tree prop and all of that still gets plenty of use. Many people have those from back when it came out. I still got the tree prop. My horse broke, and I don't know. I guess I tossed it out. I don't know.
But I grabbed what I neglected to say is I grabbed the WWE set this week too. Those figures that you could pop apart and put them together?
Oh, the Creator Wrestlers, Creator Superstar?
They had a hip hop set.
Oh, that's awesome. Isn't that the John Cena one?
Yeah, I don't want any of that shit. But I bought it for the hoodie and the came with all the headphones, the hoodie, and it came with a giant ass Flavor Flav gold clock, which is retarded. But
Anonymous
I bought it for that. Yeah, that's what I bought.
Yeah, those sets are actually pretty nice. I've got actually quite a few of them. Pretty much all like the original sets except like the Lucha set. But I've been looking to get some of the newer ones too. And they're doing like accessory packs too. So you can get a referee accessory pack, all shit that Matt Goldberg's reviewed. So go look on his channel for it. But there's just like accessories that you can buy for him now. So you don't have to buy the figures just to get the good stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal because I went in at Walmart and they had them all. They were $19.99. They had them sitting there in the $10 spot, so I paid $10 for it. It really wasn't nothing.
Yeah, they were just reduced at Toys R Us too, actually. They had the $12 sets going for like $7 or something like that. It's pretty good. Almost got them, but I was like, nah, it's all right. I happened upon this Christopher Reeve Superman. Haven't seen him in a few weeks. I am. I gotta have my backup. It's just sitting in my shelf in package. I was like, all right, just in case I pose my original one a little too aggressively. This one's probably from the new batch that has better plastic, so just in case.
Just touch it and the arm fall off.
Right. If he was a true wrestling fan, though, he'd have bought one of those sets. He's not a true fan. Wherever I see Batman, I buy it.
Even the Mattel cars for their Fisher
I got
Price line.
man, I got so many Batman. You took a little chubby Batman. I got those. I got the little Batman that you play something, play Imagine or whatever.
Yeah, you got a hard on for big bats. We know.
I got Batman everything, man. It's Batman.
Well, moving into the
You
topics
bought
for
the Play
today.
Imaginative, Pharaoh?
Huh?
You bought the Play Imaginative Batman?
Yeah, I just got it. Actually, I got that thing maybe about 2 months ago. You talking about the new 52?
Yeah, the diecast one, the big one.
Diecast one? Yeah, it's this thing sitting over there in the
What
corner.
do you think of it? How do you feel about it?
You know what? I stood it up. I don't like the
The
magnets.
shoulders.
You said what?
Okay. Oh, okay. The magnets with the cape, how they attach onto his.
That thing.
It doesn't stay on very well.
Right.
Yeah, it needs to be stronger. It doesn't stay on very well.
But other
How
than
about the figure
other than that,
itself?
it's free. I just actually, you know what, Emiya? I just
Which
bought.
version did you get? Which version did you get?
Not
Which version
that,
did you get?
I got the standard,
The standard one. Okay.
but I also got the what's the one the little Batman that looks like a little fat man. He's mostly metal. He has the giant long cape. His eyes lights up and everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know which one. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got one of those from GameStop too. They had them for like $75
Okay.
or
Cool.
more.
How much did you pay for the Play Imaginative Batman, the 12-inch one?
It was $205.
Oh, that's not terrible. That's below retail, actually.
Yeah,
Cool.
it was through somebody else, man. It was actually open and displayed. That's why when I got it, at first I thought he fucked up the magnets, and I was like, 'cause these ain't staying on. He was like, nah, they just they just fucked up magnets.
They're not strong. Yeah, they're not strong. You could probably like if you want to replace the magnets or something.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't got nothing set up, man. My room, like I was showing Fabio, man, all this shit is everywhere. So when I'm ready to set my shit
Oh,
up,
okay. Like me then.
Yeah, that's why I'm not on video right now. It's because my table in my display room is just filled with all my legends that I finally unpacked from their storage bins, and I'm getting ready to put up on the shelves. But like I was telling Pharaoh, I ran out of those spice racks you can get at Container Store. They're pretty cheap, actually, $15. They're like the nice clear acrylic ones, and they fit perfectly on that shelf. But I'm trying to line the entire shelf with them, and they ran out. I bought everything they had in stock, so I'm waiting for them to restock before I can finish that shelf. That's my other thing I got this week. I guess if it counts as a haul, is fucking spice racks. It's a nice little hack, though, as far as being able to display your stuff in a nice tiered manner, kind of like on my Detolfs, but these aren't made for Detolfs.
What's that? The Ultraman? What is that?
this Iron Man.
It's the Ultra Act Cross SH Figure Arts Ultraman, the one from the manga.
Yeah, I was looking at that. It looks like a nice figure.
Hey,
Yeah,
you
the
want one?
12-inch one actually just shipped for me.
They just shipped the other one?
The 12-inch one.
Oh, you said 12-inch. Oh,
The Sentinel one? The Sentinel one?
right.
So I should get that one pretty soon. I think the actual one, the real version of that figure ships like next month.
Yeah, I already paid for it. I paid for it through the pawn for the.
Oh,
I
nice.
didn't want to, but I said, fuck it, man. I gotta have the extra head and the better paint
And
job.
the better paint, the real version. This is the preview edition.
Well, you know what's crazy? I only kept it for these accessories. I mean, if I could actually get rid of this figure, I probably would. Come on, Boog, give me $20 for
Yeah,
it.
it's got a couple. It's got some accessories that the other one doesn't have. So
You know, I'm just like you. I want the accessories too.
you gonna get one too, Boo?
I don't got no tiny buildings and shit to display with that figure, bro.
Nah, man, Ultraman ain't always. This one ain't always.
No. He doesn't grow. He's
Oh,
actually
word.
human size. He's actually human size.
Oh, okay.
That version is actually human size. Yeah.
Okay.
He's gonna be beating the shit out of Iron Man. I'm telling you.
You ain't geesing me up.
It's actually human size.
Hey, no, hey, this figure. No, I mean, I'm just fucking with you, but this figure, man, this is dope, dog. Like
It
for
looks
real.
nice.
He got all the, he got
Boo
all the,
wants one,
he
I
got,
think.
he got all the sweet bells and whistles and shit, man. You know, he get down. He can even do the Fabio. Look.
That's me. I stand like that all the time. You nailed it, dude.
Necker, baby.
All right, you filthy animals. We're moving on to topics. We got 2 new waves of Marvel Legends that were uncovered by our good boy Rectangular, Mr. Todd Ortiz. And we don't know the breakdown of these waves yet, but so far we have listed Tigra, Civil War Cap, Red Guardian, Scarlet Witch from Civil War, Nuke, Crossbones, movie or comic not specific at the moment, Iron Skull, Captain Britain, Nick Fury, comic or movie not specified yet, and 3 characters with vague names, which we can only assume are Civil War characters. So, what are your thoughts on these 2 waves? You guys excited for like a Civil War wave, and what do you think the BAF's going to be on these 2?
I don't really care about the Civil War stuff from. I don't care about the movie stuff from Marvel Legends. Figure arts will definitely trump everybody with that. But I'm definitely excited to see some of those figures mentioned. I had spoke to Todd offline, and he had mentioned something about that he thinks that the Captain America is from the Age of X, that X-Men storyline. I don't know if y'all remember that. Probably none of y'all probably even read that shit. I did actually read the whole thing, but this was some years ago because I haven't consistently read comic books in a long time. So this is when I was actually picking up stuff weekly. So this was a minute ago, but it's interesting to see them still find a way to put in a Captain America in the X-Men line and shit. But I'm excited to see Captain Britain. I'm pretty sure they'll probably put him on that Grim Reaper body mold. I'm excited to see Wonder Man, and I'm sure that'll be that same mold as well. I'm interested to see how they're going to do Tiger. We definitely need a redo on that figure, because the Hasbro one that came out is just hot garbage. We know that. But yeah, I'm happy to see Legends continue to put out characters and redo characters that need it.
Well, I really don't. I didn't know what he was talking about, because he actually PM'd me and was talking some shit about Legends and wouldn't tell me exactly what the hell he was talking about, and I was tired, so I just told him, like, man, fuck that shit. Like, but I don't know. I'm excited for anything they give us, except for, like Boog was saying, I don't really care about the movie stuff. I mean, come on, man. Let's face it. I'm not knocking anybody who collects the movie stuff. I mean, if you got to get it, get it. But that shit's hot garbage. Like you said, that's. But I am happy that we're going to get another Crossbones, because I really think that the mold that they're making, what they made Crossbones on, is just really fucked up. Seriously, skinny legs with the gorilla arms and shit.
Only thing is, we don't know that it's going to be a comic accurate Crossbones. It would make sense for them to. Well, not even that it would make sense. They can do it, since we're going to be getting Nuke, and they gave us this Scourge and Taskmaster and all these other mercenaries. It would make sense for them to give us a little redo on Crossbones, but more than likely, that's going to be the movie version, bro.
But even if it is a movie version, I mean, depending on what he really looks like, when you really get to see him, you might be able to pass him off and do a little bit of swapping here and there. You might have a decent Crossbones. I just don't really, that gorilla that we got, man, is.
People should see, though, right now what Hasbro's been doing for the past couple years, man, they completing a lot of teams, like modern teams, a lot of team-based shit, a lot of stuff has happened in the comic books recently is really what they're shooting for. So, like, if you keep looking at what they're doing, it's kind of easy to kind of predict some of the things that they're gonna do. And
well, color, I've learned that most things, when I see them, if they can fit in color-wise, then you know you're gonna get them together. Like with the with most of the Legends, if you look at them, there's at least 3 of the figures that use the same colors. In most cases.
In every way, you mean?
In every way. Like, I mean, so if you see them, like if you just see them displayed, or they let you know the names of all the figures they're going to release, you can pretty much decide where they're going to go and be pretty accurate just based on the color and shit.
Yeah, they're doing it pretty cleverly, I guess, as far as being able to save some bread and giving you some new things every now and then. Like you said, this cap wave with the Taskmaster and those extra parts and shit. Those are like new parts on that. Some new parts on Scourge too, I guess.
Well, the the web gear and shit is new and his head is new and everything else is straight electro. But at least they're using the body and it doesn't look bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Todd had mentioned too that the Fury that we get might be the comic version, the Sun, the Black Fury that's in the 616, which basically looks exactly like Ultimate Fury, basically.
Yeah, he might have that Steve Rogers outfit now, though.
Right. So I mean that would actually make sense. I couldn't stand them giving us another fucking movie Nick Fury with a different top or jacket or some shit and those horrible ass arms, man. If they do that again, we might have to fight.
Hey, you know what? What I did was what's his name, Fabio? Commander Hux.
General Hux, yeah.
General Hux. I went ahead. I bought the figure the other day. And I know everybody. I said I'm not fucking Black Series, but I bought the figure the other day, and I said, well, I'm gonna use his body without the coat, and I'm gonna make a Red Skull with no coat. First and foremost, that figure is way too small to be Red Skull. That thing is tiny.
It's short, huh?
Yeah, the thing's very small. And when you put the head on the body, it just looks huge. Like,
Wow,
secondly, I used the jacket and put it on Nick Fury. So, I mean, it looks pretty decent. I don't have it in here with me, but it looks decent. So.
I mean, I have him stashed at my Toys R Us right now because my homie Kenji is the one that collects Black Series, and I've stashed like 2 Rebel Troopers, General Hux, a Snow Trooper, and like 2 more Stormtroopers. They're all just stashed behind some random, like, walk past him and they talk toys there. But those have been there for like 2 weeks and no one's found it yet, so if he hurries up, you'll probably still be able to get them. But
you know what I forgot to mention too? Since they mentioned the Red Guardian as one of the figures for the upcoming Cap Wave or Legends Wave or whatever it is, I could remember there was some rumors like a couple of years ago about them doing a Ursa Major builder. So you never know. That might actually still happen. That might happen.
I remember David Vaughn mentioned before for the Ursa Major.
Yeah. So that would be crazy if they do that. That'd be a great big, unique builder figure to do. So I think that would be dope. And then Father Witch, we know that'll probably be a movie figure. Todd had mentioned that too in his video. But what I thought the Iron Skull thing was in the animated series. Did that happen in the comic books?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that actually happened either. I know that whole thing with the animated series and the Cabal, he had the he had the Iron Man suit on, but I don't.
But if you notice, they've been doing a lot of shit from the animated series too. They've been doing a lot of stuff from there too.
When you watch that series, if you follow some of that story though, it's not bad. Some of the episodes are kind of just child shit, but I mean, that whole thing with the Cabal, that wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't. You checked out that new, the most recent DC Batman flick?
Bad Blood?
Yeah.
That was a dope movie, Bad Blood.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. As much as I like that movie, Bad Blood actually, it portrayed characters in a lot of wrong ways. Like, number one, the Calculator shouldn't know how to fight. Like, Mad Hatter should be impossible to control, and Talia was a little too heartless as well. She's never been portrayed as that heartless of a person.
I mean, I think that a lot of shit gets changed around, so it's a better story when you cut the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. That's definitely why those things were changed.
I liked it though. I mean,
the animation was good. The fight sequences and everything looked real crisp and clear.
I even like Damien a little more because I can't stand that little bastard.
I can't wait for the next one. You seen the preview for Teen Titans versus Justice League? That one looks.
Yeah, it looks dope.
That looks really good.
Especially because I'll never forgive them after what happened to Young Justice. I'm anxious to see some
Oh my
more
God.
Teen Titans style stuff.
I really
I'm already
didn't
tearing.
understand how they could end that show, man. The shit was too good.
That was the one petition I actually signed.
What did you say?
I said it was too good, man.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't get into the show. I'm like,
Nah, that shit was great.
No, Young Justice was
yeah, I would say
quality animation.
Young Justice was the shit, man.
All of Young Justice might end up being better than Batman versus Superman.
Oh my God.
Hey, it might. You know,
Highly likely.
the crazy part about it is that outside of the way they drew characters, man, the fucking Justice League was the shit. I love Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah, that was good too. I
But
mean,
speaking of Batman v Superman, did you guys see those Mezcos?
they look whack.
They look alright?
You say they look what?
They look whack.
You crazy.
Really?
That Batman is the shit. Superman looks like a
really
dog.
good.
But Batman,
I mean, the way they have it posed in those preview images, they look like dolls
Well,
for sure.
the Superman looks whack. Let me put it like that.
I thought that head sculpt was dead on.
I
don't
was
like-
going to pre-order them.
Wait, are we talking about the same one? We talking about the I guess I saw this because I commented that it looked whack in PNP. The suit on Superman looks baggy.
Yeah.
Mezco 112?
Yeah, it looks weird. I don't like the way it looks.
I think the Batman looked really weird because they had the belt riding up on it too high. But I know you can, that's a separate piece you can lower a little bit to make it look better. But I don't know. I thought that Superman looked pretty good. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's Superman. He ain't lying about that, man. That's Superman. I was looking all around the neck piece. It looked all like it was all fat. Like one of them stupid-ass naked dolls you about to buy.
Well, yeah, but still, they look great. they are, they're kind of like dolls. You're right. They're kind of like mini Hot Toys. Some people call Hot Toys dolls.
No, they're not like mini Hot Toys, but they are decent. I think that the problem was when I went to pre-order it, it's $75, and then they wanted like $15 to ship. And I'm like, no, I'm not paying $90.
Oh yeah, and you can't combine shipping either. That's 15 shipping each.
Yeah, I said that's okay. I'll just wait for this company I ordered through. It's the same company I ordered the Batman, and I ordered Dread from them. They were only $60 shipped flat, and I got it like literally. It was crazy because I placed the fucking order Saturday night around like 8:30, and I got it Monday morning. So.
Well, you're gonna have to slide me that link. Slide me my DM.
Shit. Yeah, it's a good company. I haven't said anything about it to anybody either, man. I know people probably like, man, help the community, but I don't know. Community might have to sit one out on this one.
I might just wait for my comic shop to get it too, like I'm doing with this Dread, but that implies that I'm gonna have to tell them to order it for me because I really don't want to pay all that shipping, especially if you can't combine it. That's such a jib, honestly.
Yeah, it is. Masco just wants some extra money from you.
I really can't understand how they would make that decision. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, and in a world where we have something like the Mafex line, you should be doing anything to get people to choose you over Mafex, because the Mafex stuff is good too. It just doesn't have cloth.
Yeah, I mean, well, the capes would be cloth.
Yeah, the capes will be cloth. Yes.
Posable, probably too, right?
Well, you don't want to leave a bad taste in collectors' mouth and shit. As much as like collectors, they gossip, man. They talk about shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't want them to talk about your shit in their life.
Now more than ever is the world of options, and when you give people the reason not to choose you, they remember. And I don't think this is the time to be doing shit like that.
Yeah, I think people are just, because we have so many options now, people can just afford to be very picky about everything. Like,
right.
It could be a little, it's a little back then, you don't have an option, you really had no choice, but now, you have many different options pretty much within the same price point, so.
And if your YouTube, if your thing's on, you got some feedback.
Feedback?
No, you're really shaky.
Yeah, breaking up a little bit.
Like a robot.
You guys can continue. I'm gonna
say Autobots roll out real quick.
Autobots roll out.
Yeah, but with some gusto, like Autobots transform and roll out.
Ironhide.
Yeah, I think that but that that whole thing that Mezco's doing, they're doing pretty good. But I think that when you introduce a line, like, okay, they're doing this one, what is it called? What's the line called with this real clothes?
Mezco 112 Collective.
112. Okay. Now, I think when you sit down and you say, okay, we're going to do these characters, and the price point of these figures are going to be $75. At what point in time do you think you're going to get $75 and sell a shitload of them of Space Ghosts?
Yeah, that's a really strange one.
I agree.
I mean, I like Space Ghosts, even though he never did shit. I just like them on the string because I was a child.
Yeah, but you would spend. You would much rather have like a $20 Space Ghost figure.
Right? Yeah, I'm not paying $75 for Space Ghost.
No matter how nice it is, it's just not that popular.
Was it Jazzwares or Jazz Pacific that did that one?
Yeah. Jazzwares did it was crap. I bought it.
It was terrible.
At least it was a Space Ghost. Yeah, it was that figure was horrible.
I don't know if y'all remember that one from back in the day that came with like the little table and shit. I forgot what company
made it. That was from Toynami.
Yeah, it was Toynami.
Oh, the Coast to Coast one?
That one wasn't bad. It came with some nice little props and shit. And that one actually wasn't too bad for its time.
Yeah, it's still pricey to this day because people just love the props and what that figure does.
Yeah, that figure can stay at where it's at for the price they're trying to charge for it. I was looking to the Thundar figures and shit. This guy wanted to charge me, if I'm not mistaken, like $60 each.
Oh yeah, those Thundar ones are really rare.
And that's some nostalgia shit for me, man. I'm not gonna pay $60 each for them though.
Yeah. And not to mention that it's like a standalone figure. It's not like you about to display it with a whole bunch of other figures from the line or anything like that.
Right.
I don't think we talked about this like that, but y'all saw the Thundercats figures, what they showed so far from. Did we talk about that last week?
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
We haven't talked about it in depth though. I mean, if you got something you want to say about it, we might as well do it.
Who ordered it? Any of y'all ordered anything?
Not I.
Oh no.
Hell no.
No, for me too. Damn. So that's all five. None of us.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy Lion though. I'm gonna buy Panther as well. If I can get the main cast of Thundercats, I'll buy them. Even the main cast of the bad guys.
I remember that time that when Fabio was on Rich's show, Two's a company, Three's a podcast. They talked about it in depth.
Yeah, we got into it heavy.
They got into it heavy, and I can't justify buying the same molds again, and there was a guy who was on the show. I think it's George. He's a really optimistic guy, and he's thinking that there's going to be a lot of new sculpts, and he thinks that some of these characters are kind of very specific, so they have to have new sculpts. But I just think he underestimates how cheap Mattel is, and I don't see it happening. And I would hate to invest myself like that.
What do you say, Emiya?
I said he overestimates, the Mattel and their ability to, put out original product and things like that.
There is just no doubt about it. When you look at what's been happening over time, the same thing comes up. These guys are cheap. That's what they are. He was pointing out he made some good points. There's a specific character who's really skinny and really small, and he was saying oh man, well they have to make a new sculpt for that. But the reality is they don't have to, and that's what sucks the most about Mattel. It's depressing.
A lot of people don't understand with Mattel is instead of them actually sculpting some new shit for a figure, they will literally try to put an overlay or some stupid rubber shit to kind of finagle the way the figure's supposed to look.
Whatever costs the least.
Right.
Costs the least amount of money for them.
That's the name.
Speaking of George, though, he posted on his Toy Addict 26 Instagram that he took a screenshot of something Four Horsemen Studios put up, which is a prototype of Panthro. And it's like 80% new parts. You can tell the difference because the older parts are still in white and the new sculpted parts are in the brownish resin. But even if it is new parts, it's still sharing, the same art style, and articulation of these Motug figures. Yeah. And so for all the new stuff that they're sculpting, they're still staying in that same, corner and that same era of action figure engineering. It's not something we want to see in 2016.
If it's a new mold and it still looks exactly the same as the old one and it still does the same thing as the old one, then is it really new?
It's the torso, the upper torso is.
Around the mold.
The lower torso, if you see it on this, the abs is still white. It's still old sculpt, but the upper torso is technically new sculpt, but it's the exact same look as these Motu figures. It just doesn't have nipples.
Yeah, but do we know if that isn't just a rubber overlay, which is what they do with like every Motu figure?
That's what I'm thinking that his harness is. The harness with the spikes that connects to his belt. I think that might all be rubber when all is said. I don't think
That
it's going
would
to be like
be
hard sculpt.
horrible.
That's the only way you're going to get the eye articulation, though. I mean, just looking the way it is right now. Look at Poetic 26 on Instagram right now.
That's going to be horrible, man. If they pretty much connect his muscles and the straps and everything as a rubber overlay or whatever, yeah, that's going to be pretty bad, man.
Yeah, I personally I can't stand when they do things like that, and to each their own. People are really excited for the Thundercats line, whether all of us here aren't or not, and people are gonna buy it, but I'm just not one of those people, man. It has to have been different for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to buy pizza. That's what I'm going to buy.
There you go.
All right, well, let's move it on to the next topic because we're not trying to run too long tonight.
Yeah,
Rick, why don't you take us in?
We're starting on the second topic already.
Unless we want to straight go into bringing in our guest. And
I wasn't here, so I didn't know what you guys.
Yeah, we talked about the legend stuff a little bit. I mean, if you have anything that you wanna add.
Only thing I would add that if you ask my opinion what the BAFs are going to be, I would tell you that it's going to be A.B.A and it's going to be Movie Giant Man. There you go. That's all I will add to the table.
You said A.B.A and what? Movie Giant Man?
Yeah, Movie Giant Man.
You know what? That would actually be crazy. I guess that would make sense. I wouldn't really care about a Movie Giant Man too much, but A.B.A I could see. I mean, we're gonna get. I'm telling you, we're gonna get this Professor X this year somehow.
Oh man, we got to. In that X-Men line that's coming, we got to get it.
No question.
I don't know, Boog. I mean, with the figure arts, I doubt figure arts are going to give you a Movie Giant, man.
No, that ain't happening. I mean,
No.
when has Figure Arts ever done a build-a-figure?
But I ain't gonna build. I'm not saying to build a figure. I just mean just a figure in general that's huge.
Gotcha.
all right, so we want to move on to the next topic or bring Michael in?
Oh yeah, no, we'll run to the next topic. You guys are actually going pretty quick today.
Yeah, that was kind of the plan we set out. We don't want to run too long.
You guys are going pretty quick today, so we could hit all three and make good time. The next topic is going to be the DBZ Figure Arts line right now, and and the shift that's going on with these renewal figures. Just the other day I was with Keiyo and he showed me a picture of the new renewal trunks and with the open tray, and we came to notice that there was just so much missing in the tray.
Yeah, definitely.
There was like 2 or 3 faces missing. There was like 3 hands missing, and they were what some consider to be iconic and pretty defining pieces of accessories. So
yeah, I feel kind of stupid actually because I had the original trunks and I sold it a couple of months ago, knowing that that one was going to come out. I'm thinking it was going to be the same as far as the accessories and shit. So now I'm kind of like a little pissed. And
yeah,
I don't. I got the Vegeta too.
I don't get
that this week too.
I don't get it.
Don't be pissed. Do what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy the trunks. I'm going to buy the Tang or whatever it's called trunks. I'm going to use a tray from the bootleg. I'm going to put my real figure in there with the bootleg hands and the real hands, and I'm just going to have a fucking regular trunks. I mean, unless it just really bothers you to not have the actual original.
Yeah. You know what? In that regard, I don't mind doing stuff with the bootleg stuff. Obviously, I'm sure we've all bought some Keiyo stuff before, just for like accessories and shit like that. So yeah, that makes sense. But this Vegeta, I forgot to mention that I got that this week too. It's nice. It's definitely. I mean, they stringing you along with this repaint bullshit and premium color and this and that and accurate anime color this and that.
Well, they have to do that. That's just their policy. So.
I mean, but it's a great upgrade though, and I think that the body actually I feel like they fixed the joints and everything too. I think the figure is really.
I mean, the figure is like 5 years old now.
Right.
It's not a new.
That was literally one of the first 3 figures that they released, right?
Fourth figure that they released. Yeah, fourth figure they released. It was supposed to be the last figure in the line, And when the deal with Bluefin finalized, and they were pretty popular sellers here, Trunks was actually the first figure of the line that they were basically gonna stop it at Vegeta because they were just doing okay in Japan. And Trunks was kind of done. The reason Trunks, the first figure, had so many accessories was due to feedback in the U.S. They had a lot of people coming in and saying that they wanted him to have both forms, and they basically listened and said, "Oh yeah, we're going to give him all these accessories and stuff like that." And I think the problem what happened was I think they gave him too many accessories, if you know what I mean. And I think that now at the time they probably didn't think too far in the future. They didn't think, oh, we're just gonna probably we're probably just gonna do just this one Trunks, and it'll be done. But now I think that they have a whole line, and they plan to probably do, for what I know, they plan to do lots of more Trunks in the future, like different versions of him. I think that they're basically trying to spread out his expressions over time.
You know what? I feel like
other figures and stuff. So
I feel like the Trunks that we're gonna get, I guess it's the future Trunks that's supposed to come out.
The one from the actual Cell games, the one
Right.
where it's basically the one after he comes out of the hyperbolic time chamber, where he's a little bit older, and that's why he's bigger. So the one that we got so far is the one when he first arrives. So that's why he's shorter and smaller and stuff like that.
I was gonna say that I feel like it's like really bigger though. Like I don't know, like it.
He actually is significantly bigger when he comes out of that chamber. He's much bigger than his father.
Yeah, it's as if 3 years have passed when he gets out of the chamber.
Yeah, Gohan as well. Gohan is bigger too when he comes out. He's a couple of years older when he walks out of there. Also, he goes as a little kid, comes out pretty much a teenager, early teenager, but a teenager. So yeah. The size is correct. He is, and then he also goes into Super Saiyan Overload, where he basically gives himself a really huge power up at the cost of his speed, and he's drawn really buff and really big, even after he's kind of knocked out of that mode. So it's accurate. It's accurate.
Speaking of those figures, I'm just saying personally. I mean, to anybody out there, I mean, I don't care about actually having the original shit. It's like I want a Son Goku, but I just don't want to pay what's it going for, like $70? I don't want to pay $70 for. I'm not investing in Dragon Ball Z like that. So I'm just going to go. You say what?
Which one?
Regular plain Goku.
It's regular Goku, regular Son Goku,
okay.
with the black hair.
Oh, the Cell games and on version, or the SDC? You're talking about the Cell games and on version.
I don't care, either one.
Okay.
Not the one with the symbol. That was the San Diego.
Oh, okay. So the one that came out that was just the regular exclusive, it came with a lot of faces and stuff like that. Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna buy Gohan and just swap the head out.
Or you can just wait for them to sell Goku again.
Yeah, they'll
Just wait for
release that figure again.
Or that, I mean,
They're gonna release
I
another
mean,
version at some point.
yeah, I'm just not invested in Dragon Ball Z to have like the boxes and have the actual, it doesn't matter to me.
Are you invested in anything like that?
You say what?
Are you invested greatly in anything?
Yeah, Batman.
Batman. So do you have to? Let's see the Pharaoh's Bat Cave.
Shit, this ain't the Bat Cave, man. That shit got to get cleaned up for you. But I pretty much, if they announce it, it got to be something like I didn't buy the Hot Toys. Was it Arkham City Batman or whichever one it was? Arkham whatever. I didn't buy that because I just don't think that the suit is functional. I bought the fucking Keaton Batman and the Bale Batman, and I don't know, that Hot Toys thing. I just kind of now you can get off on it. Did you guys see the picture of the Hot Toys Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, of course, it's all over social media.
I just want to say that figure doesn't look as good as it did in the fucking promo pics.
I didn't see it. What was it?
It wasn't the professional wasn't professional photography and stuff like that, lighting and things.
Not just that, but that's not a final production run figure. That's probably still a heavy sample he has in his hands.
Yeah.
still a long way until that figure comes out. There's no way that's anything close to a final product one.
I hope they get it right, man. Because when I looked at the picture, when I looked at the figure, I said, "Yeesh, it doesn't look like what I seen."
As someone who doesn't really collect any of these SH Figure Arts Dragon Ball Z stuff, I will say that these recolors and some of these re-releases are a good jumping-on point for a lot of people who missed out on them the first time, who maybe just didn't have access to them or didn't know they existed until they started seeing people posing pictures of them.
Yeah,
so
and not to mention that overall they're getting a better figure anyway. So yes.
Yeah, I think Anthony's Customs, his comparison of the two Vegetas, and I kind of like the new Vegeta a lot better. It doesn't look as tan, doesn't look like a spray tan going on.
No, it's good. Like I said, even the mechanics, the way it moves and everything, the way. And I still like my original Vegeta, but obviously with this one now, you can go ahead and swap out the heads with the Scouter Vegeta that you got and have him powered down and stuff like that on the newer updated color scheme. So it's good. That's one thing that's good about the line though. It's just you can always kind of like swap out the heads with different bodies and this and that, and if you have like one or two core people, then you could always update them as new stuff comes out.
Anything else we want to touch on?
What are your thoughts?
Pretty much the main thing for the line now is mostly now that I know a lot of people have been having questions about the change in the boxes, how pretty much Bluefin prints, they have their own Bluefin printed boxes now, and now a lot of the newer releases no longer have the brown mailer. And that's mostly, again, showing that the U.S. had its very own production run. And like I said, the actual Bluefin information used to not be printed. It was a sticker that was stuck on the bottom of the figure box. It was just Japan and U.S. actually had the same box, exact same box. And they would just put a sticker underneath. But they would still have the brown mailers and everything. But now, starting pretty much with like Ultimate Son Gohan, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Son Goku, Golden Frieza, the Awakening Super Saiyan Son Goku, they actually have new boxes printed. Like they actually say Bluefin on the box, like underneath the box. It's not so. There's actually differences with the packaging now.
I mean, if you really give a fuck about that, I mean, come on.
No. It's not so much the boxes people care about, but it's showing that
they do though, because there's people that was crying over the fucking shipper boxes and shit.
That's true. People do pay like $20-$30 for some shipper boxes. That's stupid. That's stupid. But it's showing that I think finally, after these few years, especially with the partnership with Bluefin, that the Bandai Japan is finally taking the U.S. market more seriously. The fact that they do an original packaging, they do have all this. I mean, it began with the Zoo Ranger, the first year Mighty Morphin Power Rangers line, where they made original packaging for the U.S. release, and they had to because that it's called something different in Japan. And and I think this is pretty much the next level, something that basically the product is pretty much more or less exactly the same, and they're called the same thing in both the U.S. and in Japan. For them to have different packaging, and the fact that they no longer have the brown, from what I understand, they no longer have the brown mailers. Like even some of the case stuff I received, they no longer have brown mailers. A lot of them. So they basically all the product that we get here, it's all packed, produced. Pack everything, produced specifically for North America. So that I think that's a pretty big deal.
I'm waiting a little time, and then I'll sell my brown mailer from my Vegeta from Japan for like $30.
Yeah.
That shit, like Emiya and Boog just said, that's some dumb shit. Actually, even when I visit the boards about Dragon Ball Z and shit, I mean, I just think Dragon Ball Z collectors are ridiculous. Like just the stream they go to. Like no, I'm serious, man. Like I'm not just trying to shit on them, but I mean, it's people like, man, I got a good deal today. Got this sale for $225 ship. They're like, good deal. I'm like, $200 for this? Hell no, man. I don't see it. I think they just go way overboard.
I agree. Dragon Ball collectors are some of the most Weird collectors, man. No question about it, man. They do some dumb shit.
They do, depending on what the figure is. Like if you have the original mailer for Trunks, I think you can get like $50-$60 just for the shipper of Trunks because he's so early on. People are crazy, man.
It's crazy. Like some of these mailers I had, I think I used them as shipping boxes to ship stuff out.
Yeah, I do. I used to do the same thing until I realized that somebody was like, "I'll give you $20 for the mailer."
Yeah, the thing is it's only the Dragon Ball ones that go for any money for the most part. Everything else, no one cares. It's just the Dragon Ball stuff where people pay
Right.
for it and stuff like that.
But it's just that those collectors. Because like I said, I'm on there and I read these guys, and it's like when I sold my collection for the second time, I had all these Dragon Ball Z characters, and they're like, okay, yeah, do you have the shipper box? I'm like, shipper box. I'm like, no, that brown box? No, I don't got the brown box. Oh, I need the one with the shipper box, and that extreme amount of money paying for them and shit. It's like,
Yeah, it can get pretty insane depending on how early the shipper box is that you have. It's pretty
Yeah,
great.
because a lot of people didn't really hold on to them. They didn't really think much of them when they first came out, and the line in the beginning is nowhere near the hot level it is currently. So
right.
figures, like Vegeta and Trunks, they didn't sell out they didn't have everyone. I mean, the problem is with Dragon Ball now, the SHF line is that you have all these motherfuckers I see it because I'm on these boards and they're like, yeah, yo, I just copped 12. I'm like, what? Hey, I want to keep 2 and then hold on to 10 of them, sell them, when they're go. So everybody's doing that now. Everybody is buying 20 or 10 or 5. Every single person I know tries to buy, hoping to capitalize. And I don't think the prices are shooting up as quick because I think that's the problem because everyone has them for sale. Everyone has them. I mean, look at Broly. Everyone was thinking they're going to get $300 for Broly. I mean, Broly, he sold a lot, and a huge testament that the figure was essentially $100 overnight. Like, even before the figure came out, we were asking $100 for it already. The actual retail price is $65, $70, and everyone was asking $100. He's already a $100 figure before he even came out. But then his price hasn't really gone up past that. It's been at 100 to 110. It hasn't gone up. It's been more than a year now. So I think it's just because every motherfucker has it for sale. Everyone has it. Everyone has one for sale. There's always someone with a picture. Yo, you want to trade this for your, whatever? Put XDCC exclusive or whatever here, So I just think everyone is just. It's just now it's becoming a little oversaturated. I think.
Yeah.
But I guess again, the line has the reputation because some of those early figures went for so much fucking money. So yeah.
Aside from Comic-Con at this point, I just don't see many things selling like that at this point anymore.
And I think Fabio brought up a good point about them trying to keep things accessible. I think because the number one thing is Bandai themselves, they're not making any extra money off any of this. I mean, they're not getting that secondary market money. So they can probably see it. They're like, yo, why don't we just... I mean, they have the policy against re-releasing direct exclusives and stuff like that, at least in a direct way. But I mean, if they set the way they have it set up now, they can probably just do re-releases, and the fact that they're taking the line a lot more seriously, and with sales and everything, it's probably gonna be much more different versions of characters. People won't feel as inclined to have to own this one or have to own that one, So I think it'll definitely make it so that the line's a lot more accessible in the future.
I could see Beerus or one of those newer characters ended up going for a lot of money on a secondary market because, well, for one, because it's just going to be that one version. It's not like Goku where there's so many different versions and this and that and powered up and powered down and shit. I feel like if people miss out on a character like that, then that particular one might shoot up.
But the crazy thing about Beerus is? Beerus is a regular release. He's not a Tamashii Web, so they can directly reissue him. It's like they're already... You saw that they already shown that they're re-releasing the Awakening Super Saiyan Son Goku in the summer, around May? I don't know, June. June is when they're releasing it, I think.
Wow, really?
So they can pretty much do that with Beerus, because Beerus is, again, he's not a Tamashii Web Shop exclusive. They can just re-release him whenever his demand shoots back up or whatever. I mean, not to say that they necessarily will, But yeah, I mean, definitely, the fact that the reason it was such a pain to get these reissues to begin with is because somewhere company policy is just how they work. Bandai can't directly reissue a web exclusive. If it's a web exclusive in Japan, they can't do a direct reissue of it. They have to change it somehow. So that was the problem. And that's why it took so long for them to re-release Vegeta, Super Saiyan Vegeta, and Trunks, is because they just couldn't overcome that policy, so they basically changed up the colors of it and re-released them that way.
They need to hurry up and put out the fucking supporting characters and finish up the Z Fighters and all of that stuff. They need to stop doing all of that.
As long as there's demand, that's going to be the most. And obviously, a lot of stuff. The focus now seems to be a lot more on Dragon Ball Super. So I think it's going to be a lot of. I mean, as long as those characters are prominent in some way in Dragon Ball Super, I think there's a good chance we'll see some of those other characters.
Yes, didn't they just start doing like new episodes of Dragon Ball Super, or episodes that were not like rehashes of the two movies that they put out?
Oh,
just happened?
dude, the actual. There weren't really rehashes. They were just retelling the movie story, but the TV version is much more longer. It's much longer. It's much more detailed. There's much more stuff you see.
Yeah, and
Because
things actually changed. Well, things actually
Yeah,
changed.
they actually
Yeah,
a lot
I
of stuff.
saw most of it. My man, our boy Pancho had them on Plex or whatever. So I saw everything up into current and shit. I sat through them even though it was like pretty much watching the same shit. But they did change a few things. It wasn't to me. It wasn't anything that was that significant though. Like it was.
But it was extended, and it was done in a way where they lead into each other a bit better, because again it's told in a much more episodic way, like an episodic, episode by episode, so it strings together better than the two movies do. And yeah, finally, Golden Frieza has been defeated as of like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
So now they're into the new story. So
yeah,
the new original story where there's no movie of
the Universal Tournament.
Yep.
So how many
that's what
episodes are they into that? I'm not on that, but how many episodes are they into that?
Like 2 episodes. Like 2 episodes.
Yeah, 2
Like
episodes.
2 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, but the focus of the Dragon Ball line is very much going to be the SHF line, at least for the regular releases. A lot of it's going to be focused on Dragon Ball Super. We're still going to get, like other popular arcs and stuff like that, figures for those, but definitely I think the direction they're going seems like very Dragon Ball Super focused.
They're doing everybody a disservice by not putting out all of the other supporting characters, man. Really. Like, stop it. They need to just make that happen.
Well, maybe
I
they'll...
I watched
web exclusive.
I haven't watched any of the movies or whatever, and my daughter, she brought it up on YouTube yesterday. Whatever part it was when Frieza turned gold. I don't know what I was watching exactly, but I don't know, man. I just don't see how you guys sit there and watch that shit. I mean, I like action figures, so I will fuck with any action figure that's dope. I don't care how boring the character is. If I could do something with it, I'll do my own shit with it. I mean, Emiya, no, I'll make him do some shit that is all the way out of his character. But,
Mr. Inaccurate.
but I was just watching it. I'm like, this shit is dumb.
Well, I enjoyed the revival of F. I thought that was good. I thought the animation was good. I thought it was actually pretty well paced. I thought that was actually good. Definitely better than some of the older Dragon Ball Z stuff to me. I thought it was.
But the dialogue is so. I'm going to defeat you, and you know how I'm going to defeat you? No, how are you going to defeat me? You're burning through your power too fast. I bet your body can't even handle the power.
It doesn't quite look like that, in my opinion. I think a lot of it is just what type of stories you like. If you don't like shonen style action, then you won't like Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is like one of the epitome of shonen style action. That, Saint Seiya, Naruto, it's all the shonen jump style, the shonen style.
Anime in general is not, what was that other shit that everybody's all hype about? One Punch Man. I tried to watch that shit. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I was
There you
One
go.
Punch.
That one is that was actually a deconstruction of a shonen style story. So again, if you're not into the shonen stuff, I would say someone like the Boogs, Pharaohs.
The Boog.
Those guys would be more about the more serious, more darker stuff probably.
Yeah, definitely. It was
I think you guys would be more to that, and which I'm gonna give, maybe one day we'll give you guys like a recommendations. You guys can see it. Other stuff. Maybe Dragon Ball, the world of shonen stuff is just not for you guys. I think.
The One Punch Man was like, it was, not only was it like silly, but it was like
it's supposed to be silly. It's supposed to.
It was silly, but it was like, it was stupid too. It didn't make any fucking sense at all to me. Like, it was just like nothing was.
That's what it is. It's supposed to be very absurd. It's absurd humor, which is it's supposed to be a gag series. It's a gag. It's not a serious dark series or anything like that. One Punch Man. It's a gag series. Like I said, it's a deconstruction.
How much of One Punch Man did you actually get into? How many episodes were you able to go in?
Me, I guess about 3 or 4.
Okay, because I know I've had people watch the show before, and they watch the first episode and they don't like it, and then I tell them like, can you just wait until Genos is a prominent character in the show, and then when Genos shows up, people are like, oh, okay, now I like that guy, and I don't have to be, a lot of people don't like how silly and how absurd Saitama can be. And Genos is a heavy character, and as dense as that character can be too, people do like Genos most of the time more than they like Saitama.
I don't know. I just feel like it's not really like, from what I've seen. Again, I didn't go too deep. How many episodes of One Punch Man are out?
12 episodes.
I just feel like they didn't explain anything, man. They didn't explain anybody's power set, really. It's just like it's just all over the place, man. It's hard to watch.
I don't mind that stupid stuff because I like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I watch the shit out of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but Dragon Ball Z, I don't like hearing people explain their plan, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, JoJo is definitely more. It definitely has a lot of seinen qualities to it over being a shonen. It is traditionally a shonen series, but even starting pretty much with Part 7, it pretty much became a seinen series. So maybe you prefer the more older. JoJo is from the generation before. It's technically started off as a deconstruction of Hokuto no Ken. It was a parody of Fist of the North Star, Hokuto no Ken, and it became its own thing. After pretty much starting from part 3 and 4, it started to kind of gain its own identity and became its own thing. So maybe you prefer the older stuff. Maybe the older shonen stuff is okay with you. Who knows?
I like the older Fist of the North Star. You might be right.
Yeah, maybe the older stuff, the more masculine. JoJo's considered pretty masculine, and so is Hokuto no Ken. Maybe you prefer the more masculine. I would say Dragon Ball is kind of in between. It's not really masculine. It's not really feminine. But I don't know. Maybe you also like. Have you seen Rurouni Kenshin?
No.
You probably like that too. You probably like that too.
It's called Samurai X.
It's called what?
Samurai X.
No, I haven't seen it.
Well, maybe you like that too.
I think the last actual anime I tried to watch was Scribe.
Did you like Scribe?
It
was okay.
It was okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't.
Did you ever check out Ajin, the one that you asked me about on Facebook?
No, I haven't. You were supposed to give me the link.
Oh, okay, I'll give you the link right now.
Yeah, it's a great show.
Yeah, I want to see that.
All right, you guys can continue this bromance over anime next time because we're taking a detour into Suplex City right now. We got a special guest on the line right now. His name is Michael Amsberg. Michael Amsberg, what's going on, brother?
Yo, what's up? What up, what up?
Man?
What's good, man?
He's really sounding like a transformer.
What's good, family?
What's up?
Good, man.
Nothing, just chilling.
Yeah, cool. Man.
So let's
them shit.
We're gonna we're going to talk a little wrestling. This is a little different for anything we've done in
All
past
right.
shows, but we wanted to bring a special guest on
I like that.
to have another perspective because nobody else on this podcast except me and Rick really watch WWE. And while you guys are getting real
Shame
heavy
on
into
you. You should be
anime,
watching wrestling.
what's up?
Shame on you. Shame on you. You guys should be watching wrestling.
Why?
I mean, if you guys like the shonen style storytelling, why wouldn't you like some sports entertainers?
Oh,
Stands to
man,
reason.
don't. Stop it.
Now, I get, like, the landscape of wrestling has changed and stuff, but even if, you know, like, some of the shit that's on the WWE, I can't stand it. It drives me nuts. It's all watered down, but there's stuff out there, even if you're an avid wrestling fan, like Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling.
I'm wearing my
There's a
Bullet
lot of action
right
to be
now,
said there.
man.
Who's got that Bullet Club shirt
Yeah,
on?
I'm wearing it right now, man.
Sweet.
Why don't y'all
Sweet.
give the people who haven't watched wrestling since they was 9 years old some insight on what's going on and where we even are and what, because
Right.
I think people don't even know like what happened with WCW or WWF or like, you know, break that shit down real quick for people that don't.
Well,
You can let them know if you want, Fabio.
All right, yeah, I'll
I think in the last.
I used to subscribe to the WWE Network, so I went through their back catalog and got a bunch of shit, informed myself a lot as far as some of the older stuff. So
You
Mike,
really
confirm
can't
if I'm
beat
wrong
that.
on anything here, but back in the day, the way wrestling was really coming up was through independent promotions, and it wasn't until syndication of cable and the TBS Superstation owned by Ted Turner that wrestling as a program really started to take off. And Ted had bought, like I said, he had the first Superstation, so he had the first TV channel that was viewable across the entire nation. And on that, he launched World Championship Wrestling, which was kind of a more southern promotion, as they called it. It was a lot more.
It was a break off from the National Wrestling Alliance from the NWA because
Right.
it was NWA merged into WCW because before that, the avid wrestling fan, you didn't have internet back in the day, so you had to do tape trading. You would trade tapes between fans and like, oh, did you see this? I'm going to send you the tape. Watch this. And, like their guy, Ric Flair, he would travel to different promotions and promote the NWA. So that's, like how they morphed into WCW when Turner bought them. But basically with Turner, he was just like, look, I'm a fan of wrestling, but I don't know what to do. I'm going to let these guys who don't know anything about the business run the business. They had a guy, Jim Hurd, who was a vice president, regional guy for Pizza Hut, end up running WCW. And it was asinine. A lot of those guys hit the brakes and they said, we're out of here. We're going to go to Vince. And, and back then, I think even WCW, in the 80s, they had a better product when it was under Crockett Motions. I think they had a better product than the WWE.
Mm-hmm. And then that led us up into the early 90s, what they called the Monday Night War, which was when WWE launched their flagship program, Monday Night Raw.
Television.
And it was incredible television because it was these two companies constantly trying to one-up each other and trying to put out a better product week to week, to the point where they had designated people watching the other guy's program live to try to either spoil what's going on in their program or try to take notes from that. Just a lot of underhanded shit. But at the end of it,
for a fan, that was great. Back in the 90s, to be a fan of wrestling, oh my goodness, I would click between two channels, USA, and I would go to TNT, TBS, and I'd just keep flipping back and forth because you were scared that you were going to miss something.
Yeah, and the thing about WCW in the 90s that people commonly love to overlook, but it's the reality of why you look back now and a lot of people actually realize that they love WCW so much was because unlike the WWF, which didn't have the greatest mid card, WCW had probably the strongest mid card in the 90s ever in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You had Chris
and
you had Eddie Guerrero, you had Dean Malenko. It's this incredible talent. Chris
Don't
Jericho.
forget about the luchadors.
Yeah, you
Right.
had
The cruiserweight. Oh my God! I mean, well, Paul Heyman was the first to have the cruiserweights here in the United States in ECW. He had Rey Mysterio, Eddie, Dean, and Chris. he realized their talent. He said, hey, I'm on to something. Brought him into the promotion. Unfortunately, you know, the money talked, and those guys had to leave because they weren't cutting a paycheck over in ECW.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of problems with ECW, sadly.
That was one of the big driving points of WCW, is that Ted Turner had all of this money to bring all these good guys over. Like, you know, when they brought over Hogan, that changed a lot.
Yeah. I mean, they knew that the war was big, and they said, you know, Ted, you need to get us these guys from Japan, you need to get us these guys from Mexico, you got to get us these guys from Canada, and we need them to take over. And when you look at the mid card that the WWF had, and you look at the mid card that WCW had, it's crazy, because WCW had just the most incredible talent in one roof at one point. It's unreal to think of now.
La Parka, Psychosis, Silverfish, I mean, a lot of those guys. Man,
Sting was my dude growing up. As soon as he did the pro turn, that's what I used to watch, was WCW back in the day. Goldberg was my favorite. Shout out to Mike Goldberg, who's watching the chat too.
When Sting would go into the ring, I mean, it was like the whole NWO versus WCW, and Sting like marched down to that ring. He got in the middle of that ring and cleaned house. I mean, I was as a mark, dude. I was jumping up, screaming. I'm like, whoop his ass, get that bat, crack him. I was just, man, it was great.
No, Sting never came to the ring. He rappelled down like a badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, he rappelled down to the. I'm glad, you know, he didn't nothing happened with that, nothing bad, because, you know, with Owen Hart, I mean, I was nervous every time I'd see him propel in. One time I think they propelled was in Panama at spring break. He dropped in from the helicopter down into the ring.
Yeah. Doesn't get more badass than that. It's all about the entrance in wrestling, but you know, that kind of brings us into the modern era now, which is what people are calling the reality era, because now people are so much more in tune, you know, like us, you would call smart marks or smarks. We're also in tune with what's going on behind the scenes of you know, the actual product, that the behind the scenes stuff is just as exciting, if not more exciting, as what story they're telling on screen. And so
absolutely.
It's reality.
I mean,
it's very interesting.
As a fan today, I mean, people who haven't watched the product in say, let's say 20 years, or just a casual wrestling fan, you're really missing out on some good stuff right now, because I think the whole industry as a whole is changing, and that's a lot to do with these new guys that are coming over. You know, Vince is a 70-year-old guy, and I'll give him all the credit in the world. He had a lot of vision, but I think he's kind of out of step today with the product. I think he's lost his hold on it. You know, he just doesn't know what the wrestling fan wants, and even the wrestling fans today have changed. They're a lot different than 20 years ago. The whole landscape has changed. It was a different time.
Skinner right now. Remember
it was a different time when
Simpsons, when he's like, wait, am I out of touch? No, it's the kids who are wrong. You know, he's got that old fogey attitude that's just not benefiting.
Well, and I think a lot of that, too, goes with the writing, the creating staff that they have at WWE right now, because they are almost like the Marvel Universe or DC Universe. You have assembled some of the greatest wrestling talent in the world in your hands. You have them at your disposal, and you're just, I mean, I see a lot of guys, they're just pissing away. They're like letting them slip through the fingers, and it's a shame, because some of these guys, you know, they've, like, let's say AJ Styles, you know, this dude has crafted his work for 18 years in the ring, and he's a journeyman, and he went from TNA to WCW. He was actually in WWE back in the mid-2000s, like early 2000s. He just, you know, he didn't make it, and he traveled the world, went to New Japan Pro Wrestling, learned his craft, and now he's the hottest free agent in the world.
Yeah,
I mean, in the WWE.
You ask anyone, you know, for the past 2 years, you know, AJ Styles, you know, someone who at this point should be declining, is arguably the best wrestler in the world right now. I mean,
not bad for a 40-year-old guy, huh?
Yeah, we don't have Daniel Bryan right now.
No,
so,
the injury list is huge. We could go on forever about it.
It's hard for him to be in contention of best wrestler on the planet right now. But, you know, you check these websites, you know, all the fans, you know, to most people at the moment, you know, AJ Styles is the best wrestler in the world. And the
AJ Styles, I would say another guy that's coming over is Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, this guy in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Shinsuke is incredible.
The King of Strong Style. I mean, if you guys don't know who this guy is, and I think some people, maybe people out there aren't familiar with New Japan's wrestling versus the WWE's wrestling. New Japan is strong style. It's more physical, where WWE it's more storytelling, But
Right.
I mean, both things. And those guys, those athletes. That's what the thing that drives me crazy is people sit there and say, "Oh, wrestling's fake. Fuck wrestling. We're not watching it." Hey, the cardiovascular alone to be in the shape that you have to be to perform some of the stuff you do in that ring, that you can't
Especially-
fake that. You have, and do it.
Especially the Royal Rumble, long pay-per-views like that, where these guys have to be in the ring forever, the whole match, or unless they get eliminated early. But some of these guys go like 45, 50 minutes in the Royal Rumble match, and a lot of it is just them kind of laying about, waiting for the next spot because they're trying to conserve their energy. They can't blow it all too quick.
Right. And you see some of the guys in there this year, like I was kind of with Kane and Big Show and Mark Henry. I mean, they all got tossed within a matter of 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a changing of the guard because with Harper and Rowan and you got Strowman, those guys, my God, I mean, those are three of the best big guys going today. Besides, like Luke Gallows and you got these other guys coming in. Those guys. I mean, Kane and Big Show got tossed.
To do though, they have to replace some of these older guys and bring in new guys that are gonna take up their spot that they're sort of replacing.
It's just, again, to touch on what Michael said, it's just right now, like I don't understand why Vince doesn't see that these guys have their place forever. We don't need you to bring out Kane just for 5 minutes just because he's Kane. Dude, we're gonna have Luke Gallows. We're gonna have so much Braun Strowman. There is a lot to play right now. You don't need to give us these guys every time. They don't need to be your anchor anymore. These guys can rest now and live their lives knowing that they're legends forever.
Yeah, I agree.
Big Show gets please retire chants at all of his matches. Like that's something of a red flag.
Like I mean, the stadium is yelling. And it does
please retire.
It does suck, when you hear all the fans telling him that. But that's what it is that these people just look at these guys in the ring and they're just like, man, you guys don't need to be here anymore.
And the problem, but the funny thing with that is though, and I'm one of them too. I think you guys, your time has come and gone. Please, let these new guys take over these hungry lions. But the thing is, once those guys go, we're all going to be sitting there like, fuck, I wish they were back, or this or that, people do it with Cena. People hate Cena, but I'm going to tell you, once that dude goes, people are going to be bitching and crying, oh, I want Cena back, I want Cena back. He might not have great wrestling talent, but
that's due in part to the fact that they haven't really solidified a top guy to really be the new Cena, because that's the changing the guard, like you were saying. They got to find that
regardless
company.
And that's why WCW went out of business, because they didn't have new guys to take over. They had the older guys who were the top tier guys, but they started aging and winding down, and there was nobody to take their place. When Benoit and Guerrero and all them left, who's Goldberg? Who's taking over for those guys? And then they went out of business.
Yeah, I mean, look at they had Randy for a long time. They had Randy Savage, they had Hulkster, and they had what's his name? Luger. They had Luger for so long.
Luger, Hall, Nash.
Yeah,
all those guys.
It's one of these things now where even to touch back on Cena, with the personality that he has, honestly, I could say that Cena's probably never been better in the ring than he has been now. He puts on incredible matches.
Yeah, I get excited when he comes out. He's a sight. He's a top performer for a reason.
Oh yeah, and it sucks he's been cut down right now by that injury, because he's arguably, putting on some of the best matches in the ring right now.
And that's the problem right now in the WWE. At one point you had almost 25% of your roster injured.
Yeah, I've got the list right here if you want to listen. It's John Cena, he was out with shoulder. Nikki Bella just went out, I think last week or the week before. Seth Rollins, who's my favorite. He blew out his knee during a house show.
Oh God,
Seth Rollins. Kane, he was doing against Kane, and he blew out his ACL.
Randy Orton is out. He's another top
Randy Orton's out.
Possibly for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Cesaro, who was getting big, he was getting over. He was stifled a little bit, initially, but he was really starting to find his groove and starting to get over. And then particularly when he lost Tyson Kidd, who's another big injury. With that
Tyson
huge
Kidd, yeah.
neck injury that he got. Daniel
Sami
Bryan, like you
Zayn was
mentioned,
out. Mm-hmm.
Sting is out because of that match with Seth Rollins at Night of Champions. Sin Cara just came out. I think he just got injured a little bit ago, right before they
He
started.
got a shoulder injury.
All of these guys have shoulder injuries. King Barrett is just coming out of a shoulder injury.
We barely at the Rumble. We barely got. I couldn't believe it that she's finally back. You know, we have Sasha Banks in the mix. You know, in my opinion, you know, the best female wrestler right now.
I agree.
Is finally back, and I was just like, oh my god. When I saw her in the ring with Charlotte, and I thought that they were going to be buddies, I was like, no, dear God, no. And when she beat her ass, I was like, oh yes.
I think, you know,
moments like that.
Pound for pound. I mean, if you want to talk technical wrestling, I think, I think Natty actually would be your technical wrestler. I mean, her mic skills are a little suspect, but technical wrestling wise. I mean, she would be the girl to go to.
Yeah, no, she's great too.
I mean, she's a ring general, ring veteran.
Right.
You know.
And you know, I also you know, the biggest thing about this generation too is, and I always tell these guys that come back into it, you know, if you're not liking the product that the main card is putting on, just change your website link up at the top to NXT because you're gonna get the best wrestling in the world right now.
Oh yeah.
And
not only
unreal.
NXT, I mean, but you got Ring of Honor. You could watch New Japan Pro Wrestling if you got DirecTV Friday nights, AXS television, Access Television. You want to watch some good matches, New Japan Pro Wrestling right now. They've got some good talent over there still. That all hasn't jumped yet, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we still got Omega over there. You know, there's a lot.
Omega's over there.
Yeah, we still have a lot in New Japan. You know.
I think with all these guys getting hurt right now. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, let's shift the conversation over a little bit more towards the Royal Rumble, as far as what we thought of it and how it sort of shapes your predictions towards, you know, going into WrestleMania season. Now that we have the game, Triple H as the 14-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Oh God.
I mean,
okay. You know, I see where they're gonna go with this. I mean, I respect the guy, you know. He's done a lot in this business, and does he need the belt? No, he wants it. That's what his own words, you know. Mm-hmm. But I see where they're going to go with this. They're going to have some. It's kind of like reversal, like Roman Reigns now is the new Daniel Bryan, and he's fighting the system, you know. And it's going to be set up to have Reigns versus Triple H at WrestleMania. Yeah, a grudge match.
I think it worked out as far as the storytelling, though, because you had Reigns put him out of commission like a month or two ago, and we haven't seen him since. So it's a timely return, and it makes sense for his character, who's this, you know, basically this asshole who just wants to be the top guy, but he's never quite been good enough without doing, you know, some suspect stuff, such as entering 30th of the Royal Rumble when the reigning champ is on first. You know, that's some sleazy shit.
Well, and as the Smart Mark fans, we knew where it was heading. We knew where this was going to go. We knew, okay, you know, when the nation jumped him, and you're like, okay, you know, he's going to come in at the end and win the belt. They tried to do a swerve with Triple H with the, you know, coming in as the last entrant. But I mean, there's some guys in there that I think could have, you know, Bray Wyatt. I mean, this guy just keeps getting continued to get pushed and just passed over. I mean, he beat, you know.
I agree with that. Bray Wyatt, I think
this guy.
They shouldn't need to put a belt on Bray Wyatt to really legitimize him, but he does need to be a little like.
No.
He needs to be more of a.
He needs a bigger push, I think.
He needs to be like the Shao Kahn style character, where he has his homies, his henchmen, doing all the fighting for him, and then when they get pushed aside, it's like, oh shit, Bray Wyatt's coming now. Like now it's about to get real because you know he only gets in when it's time for him to do the business himself. Like he's not he's nothing to fuck with.
What was really crazy about the Rumble was reading the guys from backstage saying that they changed the Rumble in the middle of the Rumble. Roman Reigns was never supposed to get beat up. What happened was that they sent somebody out and the ref told Roman, hey man, they're gonna come and beat you up, you need to go to the back, we're gonna switch up the plan. Basically, the crowd was so against Roman, they didn't know what to do. Triple H was always supposed to win. That wasn't what was changed, but I suppose Roman was never supposed to leave the ring. He was supposed to be last with Hunter, and they were just like, dude, we can't have you last with Hunter, because everyone's just gonna cheer for Hunter. They don't like you.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pick Dean. Dean has got to be in there with him. They'll cheer for Dean. They won't cheer for you. So we're gonna leave him with Dean, and they switched it up, and that's why it sucked that they fucked it up in the middle.
I blame that, on creative with WWE. When they had Reigns pick, they had him win the Royal Rumble, Batista won. It was like the fans just turned against him. That whole building, they booed him out of the building.
Last year,
with Batista winning, and that's part of the reason why CM Punk quit. He was like, "Fuck this, I'm tired of going for these imaginary brass rings. You guys are handing it to somebody who's just a part-time wrestler, wants to come here for a paycheck. I'm here every day busting my ass for this company, and you're going to say, fuck me? Okay, I'm going to take my bags and I'm going to go, And it's very frustrating as a wrestling fan because the WWE is like, okay, hey, Roman Reigns is your guy. This is who you should like. And they did that with The Rock, and everybody hated The Rock. Remember they'd say, die, Rocky, die. And then The Rock finally took it upon himself and said, let me do a heel turn. JR went to him and said, what do you think about turning heel? He said, I'd love that. Let me say a couple things to the fans. And from there, the electrifying, the great one was born.
Yeah,
and that's something they don't let the new guys do. They don't give them the creative freedom that they did back then.
They don't give them creative control.
It's what's crazy.
It's crazy. They need
you look back at just like you said, Mike. You look back at Stone Cold. And Stone Cold was fucking Stunning Steve.
Stunning Steve Austin.
and he told them, you mind if I go with a darker character? And they were just like, I guess, Stunning Steve's not working, so go for it. And now they want people to take initiative, but when people do, they get in trouble. So
it's the only ones.
And that doesn't make any sense. Why would they? If you want the product to get better, and these guys care about the product, why not let your talent have a little creative control? Why micromanage everything they do? It's so silly.
Triple H is the one is what runs NXT for the most part, and it's like you don't notice that people really love NXT, and when they look at your stuff, they're kind of just meh. Like, why don't you follow that example and feed off the crowd more?
Well, and that's the problem too. These NXT guys are coming up too early, I think, in my opinion. They're getting buried in the cards.
Yeah,
look at Tyler Breeze.
Tyler Breeze.
Look at him.
Tyler Breeze.
The burial.
Bye. See ya.
I'll tell you how you screw up Tyler Breeze. You have him debut on SmackDown. That's how you screw up Tyler Breeze.
Jesus Christ.
Put him on the beat club.
You have him randomly paired with a woman, and he's just half-heartedly for no reason.
Well, I mean,
Summer Rae, who everybody hates. You can't put anybody with Summer Rae and expect people to like that person.
That's like putting someone with Eva
Marie. Summer Rae is like the Rosa Mendez.
Okay, let's pump the brakes. That's not as bad as putting anyone with Eva Marie.
Hey man,
my God.
It's like they want to bury Nia Jax because they paired her with Eva Marie. Like, dude, people already don't like your in-ring work, and then they put you with Eva Marie. Jesus Christ!
It just makes her less.
Look at Owens.
Owens.
Did you guys see Kevin Owens and Kevin Steen in Ring of Honor? Have you guys seen any of his work? Against El Generico.
El Generico.
El Generico, Sami Zayn.
El Generico.
Oh my God!
Match, incredible.
This guy came into the WWE with a full tank of gas. He went after Cena, beat Cena in his first debut. And then it's just kind of like the tank's empty now. They don't know what to do with him. They've got him in these meaningful piss-off matches with Dolph Ziggler. It's like, dude, seriously, come on. This guy has so much talent. He's going to be one of their cornerstones for a long time to come.
I do think that Kevin Owens is in a good spot, though, just because he does have the legitimacy to elevate the Intercontinental title. So his feud with Dean Ambrose was pretty good. The
Dean Ambrose feud was a lot better.
Ziggler's always been in the IC title race, so I don't mind seeing them go against each other.
The problem with Kevin was that they were originally just going to keep going with this whole John Cena feud, but John Cena's out, so now it's like, well, they were going to keep continuing.
Zayn got hurt.
Yeah, and
I did like at the Royal Rumble when Owens came in. AJ and Owens went boom,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they started going right at it in the middle
That's
of
an
the ring.
instant
The
feud
crowd
right
went
there.
nuts.
That's a dream match.
The
That's
crowd
Owens
went nuts.
and AJ.
Oh my God, yes.
And then Sammy came out, and
Yeah.
that was great.
Yeah.
What I
that-
the random little things that they do. I loved when Xavier Woods when AJ was on the floor laying there. He's like, "Hey AJ, long time no see," because he was Consequences Creed over on TNA.
TNA.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he came over. He actually they actually knew each other. Really random little thing. That's other 3 people that are dominating the WWE right now is the New Day.
Mhm.
My God, the most over people I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely. And that goes to speak on letting these guys kind of take the ball and run with it and not having it be so scripted, because they were coming out as this overly positive face stable, and it just was not working. Everybody shat on them, hated them. And then they took all that hate and spun it and turned it into this amazing heel gimmick that just works. And every time they come out, it's
guys are the
fireworks.
These guys are the new Edge and Christian of this era. These guys are the same thing like Edge and Christian.
And when they first came out, they were trying to push him as the next generation of domination. And that wasn't working, obviously.
Look at Xavier Woods. That dude doesn't do anything. But people love, and nobody questions it. Nobody is like, man, what is Xavier Woods even doing? Nobody questions it. He's just the fucking guy with the tuba. Or the
trombone, and he's at Harvard. I think he's going to Harvard right now to study to be a lawyer, I think.
Yeah,
and
he runs an incredible YouTube channel. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Yeah, I watched his gaming channel. It's good.
Yeah, I love Up, Down, Down. It's a really, really fun channel. Xavier's just seems like he's a great person, and one of the things that that I wish was around, because you could have Xavier going for it still. I wish the cruiserweight was still around.
Oh my God! We were just talking about this in our wrestling group in WFP. We were talking about the cruiserweights. Like, they need to bring that back. And,
yeah, I mean, look at Neville. Neville has nowhere. Xavier Woods has nowhere. Kalisto. If there was a cruiserweight, Xavier Woods, Kalisto, Neville, they'd all have a place to go.
I think what Kalisto's, is the new Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, I mean, they need that. They need someone to merchandise with the mask and the Mexican wrestler look. That's something that's always going to sell.
Yeah, at first, people weren't really biting on Kalisto, but at this point, Kalisto's gotten pretty damn popular.
That's because he was paired with Botch Kara.
Oh my God, Botch Kara.
Botch Kara.
Botch Kara, man. I
like that one. That's good, Botch Kara.
Like, he just doesn't care.
No, he's a mask guy.
I mean, just watch the way he throws up his arms during the lucha chants. He's like, whatever, he's just wisping his arms up.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they got something with Kalisto there, and if they continue to go with it, I think that they're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me, in my opinion, next year's Night of Champions, you just debut the fact that you're bringing back the cruiserweight, and you make a kind of a Royal Rumble situation where whoever's last is the new cruiserweight champ, because we need these guys to have a place.
Oh my goodness, yes, because they're getting buried right now on the mid card. They're having maybe like a 10, 15, 20-minute match, and it's like, give them. Actually, I think what we need to do again is split the brands. Have SmackDown be its own entity. Raw be its own entity, and next NXT, which they're doing now on the channel. But it's like, okay, you're bringing these guys up, and they're just getting lost in transition.
Yeah, I don't understand the merging of the brand. You watch SmackDown, and it's kind of like, oh, I'm just watching what I watched on Raw, but slightly different.
Yeah,
slightly different, correct.
Yeah, it's the B show.
And at one point, it used to be the A show back in the day. Paul Heyman was running it.
Yeah, when Paul Heyman
SmackDown,
and they had The Rock on their show.
Oh my goodness, and Undertaker and Edge.
Yeah, Undertaker, Edge, The Rock. That was theirs.
And see, this is the thing, guys. Look, we're sitting here talking about stuff that happened 20 years ago, 10 years ago. It's like we're not talking about anything current. It's like that's the problem. They're not creating stuff that's getting people to talk about the product like we're doing now. You know, like I'm sure any three of us could name off, 5 to 10 great matches that happened 20 years ago, 10 years ago. How many matches can we name on one hand that have fit those bills in the last maybe 5 years?
I can think of 3.
Maybe 3.
You know which match was surprisingly great at Night of Champions was TLC was that tag match. Oh my God, that was one of the most incredible tag matches I've seen in a long
opening
time.
match, right?
Yeah, the opening match, what they totally fucked up, shouldn't have been the opening match at all because every other match didn't live up to it.
It ran out of it. Yeah.
Good ones. Cesaro and John Cena had a couple of really, really good matches when he did the U.S. Open Challenge a little bit ago.
That was good. That was Cesaro. I mean, that guy needs a bigger push, and I think, his mic skills are suspect. That's why they paired him with Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if he got his mic skills up to speed, or he, crafted it, that guy would have it because he's he's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if they should just do it again and let Paul run SmackDown, because it needs to be different. We need this separation so badly. I don't get it. I don't get why we have to watch the same thing on SmackDown again.
Well, they got that guy, the new announcer now, Mauro Ranallo. He's good. I like him. He was in UFC. Then he came Pro Wrestling. He was their announcer, and it's funny because he left to go to the WWE. Michael Cole called him and said, "Hey, would you like a job with the WWE?" And he's like, "Sure. It would be a dream." Jim Ross is going to replace him as the commentator for New Japan Pro Wrestling on Access Television. So him and Josh Barnett are going to be the announcers now, which I think it's fun because there's a New Japan Pro Wrestling has their WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom. That's their version of WrestleMania. And Jim Ross just called Wrestle Kingdom 10 or 9? I think it was 9. And he actually did pretty good calling the matches because some of the difference between American and New Japan Wrestling is the matches the moves are the same, but over there they're called something different. So like the Razor's Edge is called the Nexaya over there. They changed the names, and those fans are they're rabid. It's insane.
Yeah, I loved when I heard that Jim Ross was over there now. I was like, oh my God, finally somebody has him, because the talent that he's only getting older and older, and the talent that is being slipped for him not announcing things is a crime.
I think Jerry Lawler needs to go. Jerry Lawler is, oh my God, he's horrible on commentating anymore.
Oh man, after that stroke, dude, most of the time he doesn't even know who's in the ring.
I feel bad for the guy, but it is like Byron Saxton and King gotta go. Put somebody else with Ronaldo, Because that was the thing, like back in the 80s and even the 90s, you had some great, even 2000s with Taz and Michael Cole, you had some great commentators. You had Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby Heenan, Vince, and Jesse Ventura, Macho Man and Vince. And then you had Bischoff and Mongo McMichaels, and you had Bobby Heenan and Larry Zbyszko. And it's like you need a strong commentating staff. Because I watch wrestling. If you have some crappy commentators on there, you're going to flip the channel. You're like, I don't want to hear this guy. That one guy, case in point, Mike Tenay. Mike Tenay is probably one of the worst announcers in the business. I can't stand the guy.
Oh, God.
Well,
personal rant there. Sorry.
So if you see any wrestling questions or whatever, we'll send them your way, Mike. We'll all just answer this as a group now. So, guys, in the live chat, Q&A is now open. And we already have a question from Mike. Are you a fan of Mankind, a.k.a. Mick Foley, a.k.a. Santa Claus?
I like Mankind. I think Mick, he's done a lot for the business. It's sad to see him now as he's getting older, breaking down a little bit, but I enjoyed his matches. I thought he had some great matches. He did some great stuff in ECW. WCW is Cactus Jack. But, I like Mick Foley. I wish they would have came to some kind of, as a wrestling collector fan, I would like to see him get his Legends deal signed back so we can get another figure of him.
Oh, without a doubt, man.
Yeah, his kids are real big on Ringside Collectibles. I know Noel runs the channel or show that they do.
Noel is smoking. You know?
Oh my God, yeah. How did such a war-torn man make such a beautiful woman?
Ah,
How did someone with thumbtacks on their back get such great DNA?
Yeah,
oh my
I
God.
don't know, man. Jesus Christ,
I
Noel.
couldn't believe it. I was just like, what? Oh my man.
Okay, and what's your favorite wrestling figure ever from Matt Goldberg?
My favorite wrestling figure from Matt Goldberg.
I think I know it. Can I guess it, Mike?
Go ahead.
Is it your Dead Man Undertaker, Dead Man Inc.?
You know, I like that figure a lot. Actually, one here, I got a couple. Hold on one second. Two. I got. Well, two of them. These are two. But I got the Day of the Dead, Devil La Muerte, Rey Mysterio,
Oh,
and
that's
then
a
the Flash Rey Mysterio. These are probably two of my favorite wrestling figures. I have a couple others in there up in the shelf, but these I love my Rey Mysterios, and even the WCW Rey Mysterio is a really cool figure. I just like the
that's the one I
size of it, the height. Yeah,
Booyaka
I like them.
619.
Oh man, yeah, I love it. Great figure.
Okay, next question. How do you guys feel about I just lost it. How do you guys feel about Giant Man being confirmed for Civil War? Pharaoh, I know you're waiting to say something over there.
I mean, it was gonna happen sometime, so.
Oh man, what insight?
Yeah,
Um,
how do you feel it's going to take the story?
I have no insight.
You're a Jedi. What are you talking about? You're wise as fuck with that hood
Jedi.
on.
It was something I always just assumed. So I was glad that it was confirmed. You know, when we saw those toys go up with the Lego and stuff like that, and then the random smaller figures. It's awesome. You know, I'm a huge fan of Ant-Man. I'm more of a fan of Hank Pym, but you know, any form of Ant-Man, you know, getting that type of shine, you know, is good with me. And you know,
Yeah.
Captain America's films so far, you know, is one of my favorites, and I'm sure they're gonna do it again with Civil War. Captain America just killing it. You know.
Well, that Winter Soldier movie was great. That's a great movie. I'm a huge Captain America fan, if you can see back there in the background. But
Yeah, you have that Captain.
I love Cap. What's that?
I said, yeah, you have that Captain America collection. So.
Yeah, I like Cap a lot. And I mean, I wish I could be as good as you guys on some of that stuff you guys pull off with the Marvel stuff. But man, I think this next movie coming out is going to be good. I hope it's not watered down, because I think Avengers 2, it had the hype, and then when you got into it, I found myself halfway through the movie. I was just like, like they're trying to pour too much stuff, too many ingredients in it, and it didn't have that chemistry like the first one.
Yeah, I think Emiya has brought it up before that it was kind of hard to recreate that magic that you got from seeing everyone together the first time.
Yeah, I mean, to have that kind of landmark movie that the first Avengers was is a one-time thing. You can't really do it again. So, I think the big problem for the second film mostly was just the fact that it felt like it was really truncated, like it was cut down. It felt like there was obviously a longer cut, which there is. So that's my big issue with it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, moving on. So, which Hulkbuster do you guys think is the superior one out of all the 1/12 ones, high quality that have been released? So we've got Figuarts, Sentinel, or Comic Cave Studio.
Well, I don't own those other figure arts. I mean, I don't own any of those other Hulkbuster figures, but I know
I
that.
don't even think any of those are out.
What you say?
I mean, the Sentinel
one's
one's not even out yet.
Sentinel Hulkbuster aren't even out yet.
It's not even out, and it's also a different design, so...
What do you mean different design, like art style, or?
It's a different design. It's not based on the movie version. It's a comic book version.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's the comic.
Yeah, Sentinel one's a comic book version. I'll tell you this much: if you're looking for engineering, the Sentinel one will be better than SH Figuarts one.
Yeah.
It'll have more clever gimmicks.
Yeah,
than
but,
the SH
I could
figure arts
probably
one.
agree with that based on what they've done already in the line. No question.
I mean, just the way that the hatch opens up and everything, and how it lights up the Iron Man underneath lights up, and also the Hulkbuster lights up. I think already right there, it's got the SH figure arts beat.
Yeah.
And also the repulsors light up too, unlike the SH figure arts one. But it depends on what design you like. I would say pretty much. I won't even the Marvel Legends one is not even in the discussion. It's pretty much if you like the movie design, you go to SHF. If you want a more comic book design, then you go with Sentinel. It's probably going to be something like that. So.
Now, I didn't know Comic Cave was putting out a Hulkbuster, but they just put out an Igor not too long ago. I think I saw Dallas James with that one. So, if it's
Comic
anything
Cave.
like
Yeah,
that.
Comic Caves is all. That one is actually going to be a 1/12 scale one.
Okay.
So theirs is probably going to be very similar to SHF one, but seeing as Comic Cave, generally they basically prioritize gimmicks, light up and stuff like that over articulation and range and stuff. So it'll probably be a little less articulated than the SH figure arts one as far as range goes.
It's
But
definitely gonna cost me.
it will have more lights. It'll have more lights and it'll have more die cast, and it'll cost more.
It's gonna cost more.
Can't cost much more. Like, that's just ridiculous. Might as well be buying Hot Toys.
Hey man, that's
Any
Hot
Hot
Toys is like
Yeah, Hot Toys
$900, man.
I don't collect those figures, but that review that Pharaoh did yesterday, man, it was nice because you're posing and getting down into it and grinding on that figure, and it wasn't breaking. For 500.
Yeah, I think for the
a
first
lot
time.
of people were saying it was 500. It only retailed at like $300 originally.
Oh, 300. Okay.
Yeah, it was like $300.
Yeah, I was just telling Emiya last night that it seemed like Pharaoh was the only one who didn't care and actually explored the figure more. A lot of people just kind of opened it and they were like, well, that's all the range. It can only move this much, and it can only move like they didn't want to do anything wrong with it. But when Pharaoh had,
they were scared to touch it. Yeah.
I didn't really see.
scared to mess with it, and it was interesting to see that Pharaoh actually was able to show that there's a lot more to the figure than people claim that there wasn't.
Well,
and I'm sure how many people watched.
Add the articulation in this giant ass figure that they didn't have. I mean, the smaller figures move exactly like that. I mean, you're able to pull the joints apart and shit and move them. So I don't see why I'm sitting here with a figure 3 times the size of a normal figure and I couldn't do the same thing.
How many people watched Pharaoh's review, and that they did their review of that figure, and after he did, they're like, suck my ass, what the hell, because he ain't afraid to get in there and pose those figures.
Pose them shits.
Boog, you got the Hulkbuster too, right, Boog?
Yeah, somebody had asked earlier, Boog, if you had any complaints about it, but you did mention that you didn't have
about
any, right?
the new one, the figure arts one.
Right.
No, not at all. I mean, my only gripe is that I don't think that it was worth the. Not that it wasn't worth it, but I think that they threw in a extra like $75 to $100. Like I think the figure could have easily been like $200 up 175.
You're thinking like 200 to 300 instead of 300 to 400.
Right.
Yeah.
But for what you get and how it was packaged and how it moves, and I really have no gripes. It's a very, very well engineered figure. It's very nice. It's extremely nice. I have no gripes.
I will say this. I feel cheated. This is where I feel cheated at. I think that the arm should have popped apart somewhere, and they could at least let me add on the ring that held the Hulk's arm.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that they could have given you more accessories. Being in the SH Figure Arts spirit of giving you extra hands and this and that, because the figure in itself is totally in the spirit and the design of everything else we've gotten from SH Figure Arts as far as the mechanics and how it moves or whatever. So they could have taken it a step further and given us some extra interchangeable parts and stuff like that for that price tag. No question. I'm with you there.
Pharaoh, you collect the Batman Arkham Knight series, right? DC Collectibles. Yeah. All right. Someone wants to know what figures you'd like to see from that. I think they've pretty much scraped the bottom of the barrel as
Yeah,
far
I
as.
mean, yeah, I was about to say, really, it's not much more that you can really do. I think, you know what? Honestly, I think they need to update the Bane. I wasn't really happy with the Bane figure that they gave us, only on the strength of the articulation was kind of ass. But man, you really can't. Maybe if they want to go ahead, if they want to redo the Riddler with the army fatigue pants or whatever. But it's not a whole lot that they can actually do because they pretty much done everybody. I will take a Batgirl. If they want to go ahead and do a Batgirl from the line or whatever from the downloadable content, that'd be nice. Maybe an Oracle, but not much more than that, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know shit about that line because I've basically boycotted Batman Arkham Knight as a whole ever since they botched the PC launch, this horribly buggy game that nobody could play, and they even offered returns for and officially took off the Steam marketplace because of how terrible it was.
The game wasn't that good. The fighting and everything, it worked like the other games, but I just think the story was very weak.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very weak story.
Arkham City is probably the best one.
All right, what else we got in the Q&A? Let's wrap these questions up.
Let's see. Do you guys think EC Icons is ever going to do that upper thigh swivel?
I severely hope so.
It's possible. Who knows? I mean, the original chart showed that they have done it, and it would be, I guess, applied to the figures they needed to be applied to. But
well, you know what? According to you guys are saying that they don't have to reuse molds and they could do new sculpts and stuff. So, going by that logic, then it should be no reason why they shouldn't be able to add any of the articulation.
No, they shouldn't.
They never reused the mold, so.
I just don't get why, like, you know, if they're making this product in this day and age with all these toy companies fighting for our money. Why would you not make a figure with the most articulation on it, and and just bring out a figure that's subpar? I don't get it. You know.
Well, I don't think it's actually subpar. I just think that it's missing that point of articulation right there. But I mean, they pretty much control their own fig. I mean, it's their own shit. It's made by DC. So I mean, it's not a whole lot of competition out there anyway for DC. If you want to buy a DC figure, you're either gonna fuck with collectibles or you're gonna fuck with Mattel for the most part. Other than that, I mean, you kind of locked in.
I think a lot of it.
It's kind of like with the wrestling figures.
I think a lot of it has to do with the design. I don't think that they want to, because a lot of the guys at the DC Collectibles take a lot of pride in the sculpts, so they don't want to screw up the sculpts. So they try. It's a very fine line between balancing articulation and sculpt. A lot of people, there are some people who don't actually want joints and visible joints showing. They consider it very obtrusive and very ugly. So I think that's probably a lot of it. And going to the question about adding that joint, while they're not exactly using the exact same parts, a lot of the time these days you have a 3D articulation scheme. So for them to add more points of articulation means that they would have to alter that scheme. So by altering that scheme, that's where the money would kind of have to, it costs more money to, add joints or have more parts. Certain figures have a certain set amount of plastic, set amount of moving parts that a figure's supposed to have, or at least as far as when it comes to putting them together. So that probably plays a huge deal in it as well. It's not as simple as literally we can just add this joint. I mean, they can, but it is something that the company would have to discuss and figure out how to budget it in.
All right. What's the difference between WWE Elites and Basics in terms of articulation, Mike?
Basics, I mean, in my opinion, basic figures I just get them just for the head swaps. A lot of times, the basic figures that come out have a better head scan than the Elite scans. So, you can run it under some hot water, pop the head off, pop the head back on the Elite, and there you go. Oh, we got a new figure. The price point, $10 versus $20-some. You're getting, you have an ab crunch. You have the T-joints. Same with the legs. They're double jointed. Those, you got the up and down wrist swivel. The basics don't have a lot of that.
Yeah, the basics are only single jointed knees, right?
Knees. Yeah, they're single knees, and they don't have the T-joint where you can do the splits, kick them out up and down. Their articulation is very limited. A lot of the Diva basics, the Diva Elites, they're the same mold. So I really wish that the Divas would get better articulation, because I've been dying to do some great Diva matches with those figures. And I feel a lot of the Diva matches I can't do because the articulation it's wacky on those figures.
Now the Elite Divas used to have double knees too. They used to have double.
The only one it does is Miss Elizabeth, and the other ones are all single. The TNA, the TNA Jax Elites, or their version of Elites, those have ab crunches as well as I do believe double knees on those, and those are nicely articulated as well.
I don't
you
know
kind of mix and match them.
I don't know why they're not doing double joints in wrestling figures anyway, though.
What's that?
I said I don't understand why they're not doing double joints regularly on wrestling figures.
Yeah, especially
right. I mean, because as I know, as far as us for people who pose and we do the wrestling picks, it's aggravating because there's some moves that you can't recreate because the articulation on the wrestling figure limits. And I wish they had like the old TNA Toy Biz wrestling figures. Those were great because the Toy Biz had the same articulation as the Legends. They had the shoulder swivel where they would come out, and you could do, you get a better grip on the figures. And when you're posing them out, it sucks when you can't do a move and you're like, fuck, like you sit there for 20 minutes, 30 minutes trying to get it to work, and it just won't work.
I think the most aggravating figure is still yet to come. I'm excited for it, but that new Elite Lita, oh my god, that's gonna piss people off so bad.
Yeah, that's a nice that's a figure. I like it. I wish I think there was we had a discussion about it in wrestling figure photography. The double, I don't think it's double knee. I think it's single knee, and that's very aggravating because you can't do a match between Trish and Lita because the articulation on the Divas they're suspect. It sucks. It's very frustrating as a collector and a articulate doing A.C.B.A. with it. It's like,
but it is indicative of the Divas in general. That's exactly how they treat them on the show. They're always treated as secondary characters.
It's because in some of those matches, I mean the Bayley and Sasha match in NXT, I mean that was a great match. So if you got Diva wrestlers doing great matches like that, why wouldn't you invest in your product and your figure and give it more better articulation?
I mean, we've discussed this before. The Divas are usually the first WWE figures gone.
Oh, because the scalpers get out there and they're thirsty for them. They're out there in those streets sucking them up, and then they flip. They grab a Charlotte, wonky-eyed Charlotte, and flip it on eBay for $40. It's ridiculous. They don't know nothing about the figure, but they'll suck it up real quick. You see them at the Toy Cons all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
all right, here's
whenever Asuka comes out, that's gonna go.
So here's a more technical question. What cameras do you guys use for your A.C.B.A. shots?
I use Nikon D40, and I have a Samsung Galaxy Note 5 that I use. I know that it's not high end, but it gets the tricks done. I use 35 millimeter lens, 55 millimeter lens. I see some. I mean, Boog, you use just a regular like a little Pixar. What kind of camera do you use, Boog?
Well, the one that I really, really like the most because it gets me good pictures and it gets me really good video is a really basic, outdated camera that I haven't been able to use for a couple of months now because the wire to charge it is just not working, and I've just been lazy about ordering another one off of eBay because the camera is not made anymore. But it's a Samsung SH100. It's only 5 times zoom, and it's only like what? Only like 14 megapixels or something like that.
Is
14.2.
that the silver one you use?
No. This is the camera that I enjoy using the most. Though. So I'm saying that to say that people out there like, yo, you don't need a DSLR or you don't, as long as you got a decent light up system and you hold your camera steady and everything, you could definitely get some good shots. I've gotten some really, really great shots out of this camera. But my other camera that I have is actually a camera that I got from Pharaoh, which is a Nikon Coolpix L105, which is a little better as far as the zoom in quality and megapixels and stuff in comparison to the Samsung. It's still not a DSLR or anything like that, but it does take good photos. So again, if you don't have the money to spend on a really expensive camera, you can definitely still take some very nice shots with some affordable pieces. You know what I'm saying? So those are the
I
two.
totally agree with that. 'Cause I had an SLR that I used my Samsung phone for the longest time because Connor, he was teaching me when I started out in A.C.B.A. and I had that phone camera for a long time, and sometimes I still use the camera phone because I find that I can get an angle or a better shot with the phone camera versus the SLR.
Yeah, I never really liked taking pictures with any phones that I had though, honestly, but I'm definitely looking to get a new camera in the next couple weeks though. Something that I will be happy with to record video and to shoot with. So I'm just somebody, who was that? Oh, my man Brachiosaurus Rex actually had recommended something. I can't remember what it was now. I gotta look it up. But I mean, it's so many options out there for a camera, man. It's very hard to narrow it down, honestly.
I mean, I really think you would excel with an SLR camera at this point, Boog. I switched to one about a year ago. I got myself a Canon EOS Rebel T5, just a stock lens. It's 18 to 55 millimeter. Ever since I switched, it's like a night and day difference. Like you might not think it's a big difference at first, but the first time I shot with it, it was just
it is.
For someone like me who likes a little more cinematically,
What'd that run you?
It was about 400.
Yeah.
I got
Pharaoh, what?
a Nikon D5200. That's what I use. And it's pretty much I use a standard lens.
100?
D5200.
Yeah. Your pictures with your camera, they're great.
Yeah.
Man, there's so much shit on the damn camera. I don't even know how to fucking use it, man. To be honest with you, I learn the shit every day. I need some more lenses for it. Where I got the standard lens, which I think is an 18 to a 55, whatever it is.
I mean, don't get it confused. You can definitely see some of the guys on the page that you can definitely see who has a high quality camera, and you know what? Sometimes you can see people who just have a good eye for setups and for stuff like that. They may not have a great camera, and you wish they did, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, if he had a fucking, you know what I'm saying, something crazy, his shots would be off the walls.
Mm-hmm.
I see that all the time and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's you.
Maybe. You know who else, though, too? My man Jay Reeve, man. Like, he's got like great ideas and but just sometimes the photos are not as crisp as I know they probably could be if he had a different camera and shit. I'm not sure what he's shooting with, but oftentimes when I see his shit, it's just great ideas, man, and just so nicely executed and shit. That I'll clean up.
And I'm running a Canon Rebel, a T3i from I think I bought it in 2014.
Yeah, you need to wipe the dust off that shit because you ain't put a picture up in 2000.
My camera, it's still packed up right now. I haven't unpacked it, but I could just use I also have an iPhone 6s, so the camera's perfectly fine on that too. I guess I could just use that for now, but that's what I run with, and yeah. What about you, Emmy?
I have a 5D Mark III and a T6S and a T6i. I have 3 DSLRs. I mostly use the T6S and T6i. I don't use the 5D that often, even though I spent $2,000 on it. But yeah, I mean, I use it. I usually use it. I have like probably about. I have a lot of lenses, so I have like for different types of photography. Because I don't just. I used to actually do a lot of filming and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking to get a macro lens pretty soon, just so I can
yeah, yeah. You should.
really like get into the nitty
It's
gritty
only
with some
like
details.
it's not too expensive. It's like $300-$400, $500,
Yeah,
whatever 21.
once you have the camera body, it's just another thing you collect for it. It's just new lenses.
Yeah.
Pharaoh, how much did that 5200 cost you?
I want to say it was like 750 or something like that.
That's a pretty, I would say, high end, but it's definitely up there. Like most DSLRs, like starting level, are going to run you about 350 to 400. Like for a good DSLR, anything less than that, it's probably not going to be. You're better off shelling out a little bit more money for a better camera.
Yeah,
Especially
and
if you're serious about this,
if you're just starting and you want a DSLR, no matter what, the Canon Rebel is always definitely the strong one to go to. Very very easy to pick up on, and after the Rebel, you can move on to whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean they're good entry level DSLRs. So
Yeah, exactly.
And they're getting better and better. Like even the entry level stuff has even stuff that's even better than the higher end cameras. So
you don't really have to like know how to use it at first. Obviously, you should be teaching yourself how. But if you just do like no flash auto mode, it'll you can kind of take some measurements off of that, and then it'll automatically set the best settings for what's in front of it, and then you can take that those base settings that it gives you and put it in manual mode. And then from there, that's your starting point. You can modify a couple things here and there
What a lot
as
of
you
people,
see fit.
what a lot of people are forgetting is don't get it twisted. Everybody who tells you that they're taking a picture and they're presenting a picture, it's like, wow, this is great lighting and everything. A lot of pictures are manipulated, man. They can say they're not, if they want to. I'm not going to argue with whoever says they don't. But some of those shots, it's photo manipulation.
there's
Darker.
nothing wrong with photo manipulation.
I'm not saying that anything is wrong with anything. I'm just saying that a lot of people get the idea that.
I mean, you could just look at it and tell. But
Setting
that's that's how it is.
But see, some people don't know though. Some people think that people are setting these figures up and then they're going to take a picture and be like, there it is.
Well, I definitely can say that I don't really Photoshop or anything. I don't even put it through like any processing on my phone after I upload it. I have to make sure everything looked good, out of camera. And that all has to
Get
do with
yourself this
lighting.
A.C.B.A. A.C.B.A. official flight stand. There you go. There's your photo manipulation.
Yeah, that's how I did that.
I
That
had
Predator
seen-
shot I just did is that I got one of the aliens flying up using a stand, and it took me a while to realize, I had to zoom in and realize that you could still see the stand in a few of the photos, so I had to go back and reshoot it. But don't get confused in the audience. Like, you guys have to. Your lighting and your clarity all has to do with how well you build the shot. It's not necessarily like how good your camera is going to make your shot good, because you could have a really great camera and still take some not that great photos. So it's all about working on your fundamentals, and once you've really got those down, you can grow out of whatever camera you're using currently. Like, I grew out of my two phone cameras that I was using before I upgraded to this, and I was taking decent shots on those, and they still look good, but that's because I was always anal about lighting and everything and posing and making sure you couldn't see stands here and there. And my phone photo roll was like 50 to 100 shots every display. But with the DSLR with a tripod, it's a lot easier to really refine those little details.
What other questions?
Tripod. I definitely. If you guys aren't using one or whoever's not, go ahead.
All right. Any more questions? Quick question. What's your guys' criteria with setting up in the glass cabinet, detolves, that kind of thing? Do you guys arrange it by by company, by universe, by toy line, by scale? How do you guys arrange your shit?
Yeah, I usually do by company, and usually some of the more high-end stuff that I have maybe, or things that I don't have, like doubles and triples of, will make it to the display case. Things that I don't plan to pose up too much, maybe my best version of the 2 or 3 of that particular figure that I have or something like that. So, obviously, I don't think any of us have everything that we own on display at once. So, you're going to pick some of your favorite pieces out of your collection to have them out in your details.
Mm-hmm.
I like my details to just look clean and sort of be like museum-esque and shit. I'm not one of those people that'll just like stick every single thing in the cabinet. I think that kind of defeats the purpose of even having a display cabinet. It just looks cluttered and whack,
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of clumping either. I have, what did I get? I've talked about these before. It was those clear acrylic risers, but these are specifically sized for Detolf cubes. And I think there's about 2 inches of elevation, maybe 3 inches, and it's 3 levels. So that makes it so I can put maybe 3 or 4 figures per row, and it doesn't block the sight lines of each figure. Like you could see them all pretty clearly. Like you said, museum style.
Yeah, those are very popular in the anime figure community. Having the
clear ones, yeah, they have those at Crate and Barrel for like $17.
Yeah, but these I've seen. I was just talking earlier before we came on about the Container Store, and they have a lot of like spice racks, including clear acrylic ones. But these ones that I'm talking about are specifically for Detolf cubes, like measurement wise, and I believe at the top level, and all my Detolfs are full of NECA figures, like just NECA figures, and so. Those are about like 7-inch figures, and from the top level, that leaves about 3 inches from the top of the cube. So it's like perfectly centered in there. You're not like touching the ceiling or anything like that, and there's plenty of room for taller figures too. So I'm a big fan of those. I think it gives you total of 3 levels of display. And since it's clear acrylic, the lights don't. They're even lighting on each level.
The light will go through.
Still shining through, yeah.
I know with my wrestling figures, wrestling, the horror, I've got them all, different spots, the mini-mates, Cap, stuff like that. Hellboy, I just, different tiers. With wrestling, I do it by era. Like there's an 80s Attitude, PG era, I got a Divas shelf, I got like a WCW shelf, and I got a lot of the Jax figures that I haven't got rid of yet.
Now the guy that asked the question wanted to clarify, like, do you guys set up like by scene and then just take a picture, say a scene you just took a photo of, do you transfer that onto the Detolf cube when you're done with it, or does it start on the Detolf and go back to a scene?
That's a good question. Sometimes I'll have something. I'll do a display of something like that, and I like how it come out, and do like a lighter version of it in the Detolf. So that does happen sometimes. I don't try to do anything too crazy in the Detolf. Again, it's more vanilla stuff, just to kind of give you a look of how the figure looks and stuff like that. I'm not doing crazy displays in the Detolf too much these days.
Okay, moving on. Someone wants to know if we offer a pile of money as a prop on the A.C.B.A. site. Probably should. I believe Bodega Joe, at Bodega Joe's Dios on Instagram, I think he does like batches of that.
We got some new things coming in March, sort of in that vein. So just kind of stay tuned.
Okay. Anyone else have any final questions in the live chat before we call it quits here? Pharaoh, you have any hateful shit to say?
I just sent you a message of what I wanted to say.
It's a picture of his ass, if anybody's wondering.
It's a goatsy picture.
He know what to say. That's why he quiet.
Mike, you want to plug anything?
I want to shout out to my PNP, A.C.B.A. family, WFP, Wrestling Figure Photography. Shout out to all my admin groups, especially John Connor and Sentinel. Holding it down, Slings, everybody who's helped me out on A.C.B.A. Thanks for having me on tonight. I had some fun and maybe enlightened some people about wrestling, got them up to speed a little bit. check out, we do a lot of wrestling stuff in wrestling figure photography. You also see my stuff in A.C.B.A. Just keep an eye out, And I appreciate everybody with the love.
What's your
What's
Instagram?
that? Oh, M. Amsberg Figures for Life on Instagram, and I also have mamsberg.squared circle photography on Facebook. I do basically I do all my wrestling shots, throw it on there so people can see it.
You need to get back to making videos, man. The few that you did were good, man. Get back to that.
I'm trying. It's a work in process, I'd like to get my videos up to snuff.
Hey, man, and remember, man, trade up them cloud cakes for real Twinkies, man.
All right, I think that's it for us tonight. I want to thank Mike for coming on, man. If you don't know, this guy's definitely one of the best people, or one of the top people doing stuff with wrestling figures, and
Without a doubt.
oftentimes I feel like the stuff
Thank you, family.
doing, even a lot of the basic shit like that Stone Cold pic that you put up with him going out to the arena and shit. Like, I feel like a lot of that shit that you do, even that's basic like that, is trumping a lot of shit that's happening on the board. But it's just because, it's wrestling. People might not relate or might not be big on it, but just the way that it's framed, the way that it's presented and shit, it looks very, very good and very clean and shit. And I think more people need to just respect the grind and respect the art, regardless of whatever the property is. But keep doing what you're doing, man. Don't let people deter you from doing what you love and shit. I do enjoy your shit a lot. So.
Thank you. Thanks, Sam. I agree. Thank you.
Way too much bullshit getting 500, 600, 700 likes. Just trash.
Preach. The church going on.
But yeah, I think I just saw a picture of Spider-Man in a bowl or some shit, like some Spider-Man figures in a bowl. I don't know what that was. I just saw, but yeah, So I just want to see more people doing shit like that. Just quality work, getting is just doing shit. So
I think as an artist, I respect people that do like their own thing and kind of if I see a picture and I think it's good, I'm gonna like it. If I don't like a picture, I'm not gonna like it. Simple as that. I'm not gonna be like, oh well, it has Deadpool in it or it has a stormtrooper in it. I'm gonna like it. No. If you put the work in, you do the grind, I'm gonna respect that picture. I'm gonna like it because that person took the time and they busted their ass to put out a quality pic. A lot of times I'll take if I see a picture and I think it's really good, I'll take it and save it to my phone. I'll look at it. I'll study it. Actually, I think the Jason picture that I did, where the Buffy figure, she's kind of peeking around the corner with the axe.
Yeah,
that was inspired from Pharaoh. Pharaoh did a pic where it was the Joker with this big gun, and he was hiding behind a water tank, and Batman was coming up from behind, and I liked that whole depth perception that he did in the pic, and I was like, man, that looks really good. Let me try, and I just got that Jason figure, and I was like, man, I want to try and put them together, and I constructed that dial stuff, and that's how that shot came about.
Stealing my ideas, man?
I just stole the concept, sir.
All right, so with that said, we're gonna wrap it up. It's been a good, hefty episode. Once again, thanks, Mike, for coming on. Thanks to the regular.
No doubt, my pleasure, guys. Thank you.
And yeah, man. Until next time.
Good night, everyone.
Peace. Word.